Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. Friday night, it has been a busy week on YouTube and Twitter. I've assembled a great panel. We've got a great group of people here. Let's do a quick group of, let's get the intros out of the way, folks, while everybody kind of shuffles in. And you know what? I'm going to pull a Crap Gamer because Crap actually does this right, and I don't. Let me just say this much. Everybody, let's hit that like button. Let's subscribe. Let's show Mooch a little bit of love. Well, thank you. I don't really do that. I gotta put how do you put a billboard up for yourself?
You finally
smash the like button.
You finally hit 8,000 subscribers.
Yes, it took forever.
8,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
because you're never like, hey, subscribe or anything. So
yeah, I never say anything.
People are just like.
I remember people reaching out to you, Crap, and they were like, Crap, how is it you do this? And you're like, listen, it sounds like fundamentals, but literally saying, please hit the like and subscribe button goes a very long way. And you are 110% correct.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that, everybody here. Let's do this first and foremost. Let's start with the one, the only, the man who gives the recommendations at work. Crap Gamer. Crap, welcome here on Friday night. How you doing?
Woo! I'm great. Woo! I'm so great.
He's doing so well.
Yeah,
that's great, buddy. It's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's thank you. I'm happy to be here. There's a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight, so I'm excited.
All right, cool. Let's go down to my next guy. Another Floridian, a very good friend of Crap's as well, and mine, the Italian stallion in the South, Clowns. What's up, buddy? How are you tonight?
Hey, what's going on? Pleasure being here. It's a great night. I had a cheesesteak, so I'm ready to go. What's up, guys?
Nice,
Jelly.
Clowns, nice.
Jelly.
You may know him as Xbot448, but I know him as the man that makes his own coils. Xbot448. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, everybody? Just to let everybody know, this entire week, all I've played was cartoony games. No realistic graphics. All cartoony
How
games.
dare you?
I have had
How can you have fun like that? Come on.
I think he just changed his ringtone to the Looney Tunes theme.
Oh,
well, wait.
With the cartoon.
Tiny Toon.
Signora Bombastic, he only buys everything. And also now we're going to also add, he also plays older games and has no problem with it. Boom, welcome, buddy. How you doing tonight?
You forgot I make pizza, which I tweeted about, as you recall.
I want pictures.
Oh, dude, they're up there from
He did tweet a picture.
I didn't see it.
Dude, I actually did a whole process from the bowl all the way to the end product, and it was fantastic. Listen, I'm super excited to be here. God of War, getting 10s across the board. My game of the year 2018 without picking up a PS4 DualShock. Am I insane? I don't think so.
How are you going to call game of the year when you haven't played the game yet, man?
Now, listen, guys. Wait, I didn't hear no bell. We didn't even get to the first round yet. Let's get to the introductions. Hold on 1 second. The gamer known as the Ireland. I can't come up with it yet, but I'll have something for next year. Alan Walsh, welcome back to the show. Full throttle. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. You know, you guys are mentioning older games there. I've been actually revisiting Red Dead Redemption and Forza Horizon 1 this week in stunning 4K on the X.
Too realistic.
They both hold up really well. Like for games that came out in 2010 and 2012 respectively. It's just crazy how well they hold up on the X.
No, I'm actually glad you said that, Alan, because we're gonna get into that in one of the subjects. I really do want to discuss. I know Crap, pardon me, has played it a little bit of the Red Dead in 4K now. Now you did too. We'll let the audience know when we get to that area just the significant difference there is on this 360 title that has only been 4K up-res. You know, you hear from people like Rod Ferguson from the Coalition with Gears 2 that was also up-res, that they don't even have to go in and touch it up. It's something in another department that they're able to do.
Absolutely.
And it's tremendous. And
it's not just that, it's also the maxed out anastrophic filtering as well.
Agreed. And this is why Alan's on this show, folks. It's higher learning for all of you out there, okay? And myself. That's great, Alan. Thank you very much.
Can I say?
Go ahead, buddy.
Just when we're off air, before we start the show, anytime Alan comes in, he's like, "Man, it's been a busy week." I am one of those people that as soon as he says that, I start foaming at the mouth because I'm thinking juicy tidbits of like Forza information or stuff like that. So when Alan talks, man, I listen. I definitely listen.
I do too, buddy. Believe me. He's a plethora of information. Plus, with the accent, he just sounds, his IQ jumps at least by 50. I'm telling you right now. I love it. And speaking of that, my buddy, he's not a regular on the show, but he's almost a regular on the show. We game all the time. Predator H2O. What's up, Pred? How are you?
What's going on, man? We're playing a lot of PUBG today. And I'm glad you guys are finally enjoying Hellblade. Some of y'all have never touched it before. I've only been showcasing it on the next podcast for like 3 weeks
I
now.
was gonna say 3
and I keep
weeks.
losing. So, welcome.
Well, Fred, it is good to have you here, though, because in all honesty, the one thing that you do very well on Twitter, you do it on any podcast you're on, is you speak your mind. And I got news for you. Everybody should sit down, make that big bowl of popcorn, and listen when Predator speaks. So, Pred, we're going to be getting to a lot of your opinions tonight. Let's start with the big hot topic in the room here. The God of War reviews are out. Okay, they're showing just the strength that Sony's kind of coming into in this generation. I don't think anybody can argue that. I've always loved the concept of God of War. I am personally excited for this new one, not because of the reviews, not because of the instant hype that's happened in the past few days. I like the change in direction that God of War, I've said this number of times, I'll say it again tonight. I didn't like the wacky, crazy camera angles. I'm not saying those were bad games. It just wasn't for me necessarily. I love what they're doing with this one. So with that, I'll open it up to the panel. Guys, where is it that you kind of, how did you feel when you started seeing everything coming out, basically 9.0 and higher? Was it just, tell me something I didn't know? Or was it something a little bit more eye-opening, and now you're seeing more and more footage as the embargo lifted? I believe it was on Wednesday.
I think it just looks amazing. It looks, like when that first initial bit of footage leaked right around the time I think Sea of Thieves was having their last open beta. And that just conveniently leaked. You just knew that game was going to be really, really good. And surprise it is. I mean, started at the bottom and now they're here, because if you think about it, that was a studio on the brink of closing down.
Yes.
Just a handful of years ago. They were making a new IP similar to Destiny, and they laid off half the staff at Sony Santa Monica, and they canceled that IP. It was going to be a PS4 exclusive, and then they decided to kind of shift and refocus on God of War, and that's what they did. And congratulations to them. That seems like something like incredible to come back from. So that's not only an incredible game that they've made; it's an incredible comeback story.
Yeah,
and props to them for that, man. It looks like they pulled out all the stops. Very, very cool.
I just want to add to what you were saying, Mooch. You see, you're talking about how. You kind of touched on it a little bit about, the other game was, kind of like a hack and slash, kind of jump up, slam down, camera goes all the way back into outer space. You look like the size of a G.I. Joe figure. You couldn't tell what was going on. You know what? There's a lot of other things that were not mentioned, and I'm going to mention them because we're on the same page. He was a snarling, grunting thing. Right? Everyone liked Kratos. He was always angry. He said 3 words and he cut someone's head off. You see, where they're taking this is where one of the reasons why I love the way Sony does their single player games. There is going to be an emotional story in this where right from the get-go, and again, no spoilers here, obviously his wife passes away, which he's left with his son. Her final wish is to have her ashes scattered in a particular part of the world, and that's where you start your mission. Come on, man. I mean, we're talking about this guy was a caveman, and now we're talking about he's going to be raising his son. He's understanding different things that is happening to his son, and there's an emotional side to Kratos that we were never privy to.
Let's be honest too, and this is going to save the game for. And I'm picking on Crap, but Crap's actually going to like this. Crap didn't like the way that a lot of the other Sony studios kind of had the tag along. I didn't mind having Joel and Ellie, but Ellie and Crap's right. For a lot of people, they say it kind of felt like a tag along, and you just had to like kind of bring her along. There's nothing she could do. In this case, and I don't know if I have the name right. Is it Trace or
it's Atreus?
Atreus.
Yeah.
His son actually has a small level of level up gear, whether it be the bows, etc., the arrows. I purposefully listen. You guys know this also from listening to me over the years. I'm not a big fan of spoilers.
I didn't watch any or read any of the reviews.
I really haven't done much. I looked at the numbers. Maybe I looked at a quote or two. I did watch a little bit of Digital Foundry's. They said spoilers, so I only watched about 3-4 minutes because the way they do it is they'll say spoilers, but they can do it at the end.
Yeah, the one thing that I will say though is this, right? If you go back and look at reviews for say God of War 3 or 2 or 1, everybody's like, it got really good reviews. And now with this new one, they're like, nice of them to change it up from that one-note character that Kratos was. But when you go back and look at the old reviews, they never mentioned that it was a one-note character. So always kind of scratch your head a little bit, and then Nobody complained about the camera angle or anything like that back in the day.
No.
And now all of a sudden it's like all these things are great changes, better. So I would say that's my one little nitpick as far as some of like the bottom lines, because you can see it like, oh, great new change to the camera, great new this, great new that, right? He's not a one note character anymore. And then you go back and look at the old reviews, and the old reviews never mention any of that stuff as being negative. So
when it comes down to it, I don't think I'm going to pick up this game day one. I'm going to pick it up down the line. We're talking about this offline as well. A single player game, I don't feel like I have to pick it up unless I really want to play that right off the bat day one. My whole thing is when it comes to these reviewers, there's a couple things here. I feel that Sony rests on a certain blueprint now. So it's like, hey guys, if you want a game reviewed at 9s or 10s or whatever, you got to do that third person's perspective. You have to have a tag along,
or just a single player aspect. But I mean, you have to look at it this way, right? Look at the people that are reviewing it. Not that they're wrong, but if you it's like a blueprint that more of these games are following. Yeah, but here's the thing though, like these reviewers are more inclined to review a game like that because they grew up with that than they are a multiplayer only game or some other type of game.
Yeah,
so
they don't have to review something that's different. They don't know how to review it.
Exactly. So of course, I mean, and that's not taking anything away from the game. It looks fantastic. I'm excited for it. I'm just saying, reviewers in general, especially from big sites, are more inclined to review these type of games well because that's what they like. That's what they, you know what I mean? Like when you think of gaming, a lot of people think of these big epic single player games.
Yeah.
And so they're going to review well, and it's nice to see that they made the changes for the better. And it looks like this game's going to be like universally praised, critical reception, and all that kind of stuff. So it's very exciting. If it wasn't for Red Dead 2 coming out, it'd probably be in the front running for a game of the year,
Oh no, here we go. But I got one more. I got one more little bone to pick out here as well. And you guys can let me know if I'm nitpicking or whatnot. This entire generation, right? People have gone after like Xbox games in terms of resolution and stuff like that. When it comes to reviews, they've gotten like a couple points knocked off for being 900p or something like that. When it comes to God of War on the PS4 Pro, there is something called checkerboard artifacting, and you can really see it with white lines that go the vertical, go straight up and down. It looks like boxes diagonally going up like a staircase or whatnot. And these people are giving this game perfect 10s, and these same people would knock games coming out this generation, especially not on that platform, for having a lower resolution or this blade of grass over there or that blade of grass over there. What happened to that whole narrative? Did we move past that like across the board and it's okay now?
No, I don't know if we've, I understand what you're saying, and you are correct in that aspect. The problem is that up until, and this is, I'm going to piss off a lot of Xbox players, but you got to call a spade a spade. Up until now, the only game that is that realistic looking on the current Xbox, I mean, besides Gears, because Gears looks ridiculous, but I'm talking about that kind of bloody hand-to-hand kind of a combat, is Rise Son of Rome. Okay, and I think you're right with the with the double standard. The double standard is there. I'm sorry, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I want to say, like, I think the game looks great. Even in Spider-Man, people have shown pictures of that checkerboard artifacting, which you are going to get when you're trying to use that technique to get to 4K on your games. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just wondering what happened with these reviewers, because when it came to games like Sunset Overdrive, it got knocked for being 900p. When it came to games like Quantum Break, that completely killed the game in terms of reviews and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say this, Xbot. You bring up a good point, all right? And it's here's the thing. You have to really walk on kind of eggshells with this particular game, because this game is something special. Let's put that out there. This is a
Sony game.
It is. However, Xbox makes a point that, the other thing that was brought to my attention within the past 24 hours is that possibly, I don't know if there's going to be a patch day one or not, but there's frame rate issues. A game like this is dipping into the mid-20s. Is that something that's a deal breaker for people? No, but these are things that reviewers used to talk about back in the day.
And they don't now.
Especially Xbox.
Yes.
And now you don't hear that. So, you do have these issues where they don't hit native 4K in a dynamic 4K machine. It's the best place to play, and it's at 26, 27, 25 frames. At times in action sequences, these are things that used to get games dinged just about 12 months ago. And we used to see it a lot on the Xbox platform, especially.
I'm going to say,
I do understand your point.
I never had an issue with it. My whole thing is with the reviewers, though. Like, all of a sudden, like, you see 10 out of 10 when, even Digital Foundry had to point out, the checkerboard artifacting in the game, and they even kind of passed it by and said, well, it's not that big of a deal. To me, it's not that big of a deal, but where was that not big of a deal thing throughout the rest of this generation when it came to other platforms? You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And shout out to PMS Jordan. And she goes, I think it's because most people still have 1080p TVs. Well, if that's the case, though, Jordan, then my response to that is back in the day in 2013, 2014, most people had 720p TVs still.
Right.
So that shouldn't have been a big deal back then. That's not really the case in hand. The case in hand is you had Digital Foundry, and Crap did a ton of great coverage on this, that basically Digital Foundry would be like, they're both Xbox and PlayStation's game is both running at 1080p, but because of the few jaggies we found on a shaded area or a stem of grass or a branch or a leaf, we have to give the victory to Sony. And what Xbox saying, I think what we're saying here is, okay, now fair is fair. There's tens. There's people are just throwing tens out the window at this thing. Yeah. I was like 10. I only got halfway through it, but 10.
Look, here's the thing, though, man. You put a kid in a game, and I saw this on Twitter. Like, if you're a parent and you got a kid in the game,
I saw that.
Right? Like,
I did see
people
that.
are gonna get, like, except for me, because I don't really get emotionally involved, or you know what I mean. It's just characters on a like it means nothing, but
Although like, Halo 4 got me, man. Halo 4 got me emotional.
But like, it's good characters. They did good. Like I said, hell of a comeback story for that studio. The game looks amazing. Like I don't have to sit there and go, hey, but what about really this or this? Right. I mean, I pointed out the one kind of funny thing that I thought, which was nobody ever complained about the one note character, which I still think is funny. But they did a good job. They put out a fantastic game. People got to remember that Sony hasn't been doing this all generation. It's been sporadic and only lately, right. That kind of stuff takes time. They come out with something that's really good. Like I said, man, it's definitely going to be one of those games in the running. And unfortunately, if not for a little game called Red Dead Redemption 2,
right.
It probably would win some.
Something else we're kind of working into CrossFire. I want to say shout out to the Downer was here. Jeremy stopped by. Thank you for the super chat. And also Biggie, thank you. I told you you'd love Console Wars. Anyone who hasn't tried that out, check that book out, especially if you're in your 30s. Really hits home for all of us gamers that lived in that generation. But getting back to it, Boom, let's talk about you for a second, because this game is very high on your radar.
Yes.
This game is very much you've done videos on it, and Xbot and you were having a really good conversation. And you know what? You were. And I'll tell you something, it makes for a great conversation because people were saying what Boom was saying across the gaming media. People have already said this is game of the year. Xbot, what was your stance? Not just at Boom, but and then I want Boom, Boom, I was going to call on you first, but I kind of want you to
No. Let Xbox go. He's making some good points.
He did. What was your point when you see media or anyone making videos like that?
My whole thing, especially with people like I that I have in my circle, people I love talking games with and stuff like that. When you come across and you say, this game is my game of the year right now, and you haven't picked up a controller yet or played it, it could be your type of game, but you don't even know how the story, where the twists and turns are in the story. You don't know how the game actually feels because you never really got the controller in your hands, and you haven't experienced the game yet. I am just in my belief system, I feel there's no way in hell you can say this game is game of the year until you get your controller on. You can say, I think it could be game of the year. I think it might be the front runner or anything like that. But when you're like, yo, this is game of the year right now in my book, and you haven't put the controller in your hands yet, and you haven't experienced the game, right. I just feel like you really shouldn't say that, man. I don't know. I don't know how you can say game of the year on a game that you haven't actually played yet.
And you know what? You would be right almost all the time, except this particular time. I'm going to say. I'm going to say
this is why you're wrong.
This is why you're wrong.
No. This is why I'm going to actually say that we are. This is where we're going to differ, because not so much that he's wrong, because he's right. I mean, it is. I would say even a bit of lunacy to say that. And I said that, and you guys can attest to this. The video came out 2 weeks ago before any 10s across the board. So I was calling this well before. See, there's a couple of things with me in the way I game. Is I do enjoy multiplayer. but it's not my strong set. It's not my strong go-to. I am a single player guy. I always have been. I'm also an older guy, the oldest guy on the panel. I remember I started with, you know what I'm saying? Before some of these people were born, I was actually playing games. So right out of the gate, a game like God of War hits every checkbox for me. Single player, check. Graphics that are realistic, check. Kratos is a character, check. It has that Sony, single player, umbrella thing, check. So I mean, yes, I mean, obviously, if I wouldn't have made such a wild quote or statement if I never saw the game, but I've watched tons of videos, and I know that the kind of gamer that I am, this hits again all the check marks, and it's a game that I was excited for simply because of the change and the story and the narrative was being changed from the hack and slash craziness of what the original was. Now, granted, I beat every God of War, even the ones on the PSP, so I'm obviously a huge fan. But again, I have zero problems putting myself out there and making a wild quote, because if I have to eat crow, I will come up on this show and be like, guys, you know what? I made a fool of myself. I said God of War was my game of the year, and it wound up being horrendous. And it wouldn't be a problem. I have zero pride like that. But because I know me,
I don't think there's any way in heck right now that you would ever say that it wouldn't be your favorite. Or that you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
there is question.
He stuck by the Horizon Zero Dawn stuff for a long time, and I know a lot of people that didn't like that game despite the praise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also convinced that Boom's one of the only people I know personally that can get hypnotized. I have no idea how that actually. I don't know what happened, but so look into the clock, Boom. Watch the clock. Pred, what about you, Pred? What's your take on this whole thing? I mean, you don't really chime in a lot of times. You love your realistic army shooters. We all know that. What's your take on like a God of War?
I actually got my PlayStation just for this game. So
there it is, folks.
When I obviously, I game on everything, but when I saw the announcement for this last year, I was like, okay, I'll finally go ahead and get my PlayStation, and I'll just anticipate this game, and I'll play a couple of games in between then and now until it comes out. So this was the game I was looking forward to getting, and I have it pre-ordered just like some of you guys do on the panel. So I was looking forward to this. So game of the year, I'm going to hold off on that right now because, there's typically, depending on what, outlet you go to for your game of the year award. I know like the Game Awards show, there's only been a few exclusive titles that have won it. I think Last of Us might have won it a few years ago. Yeah, the Game Awards show, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking right now. Hold on. Okay, Uncharted 2 was the last exclusive to win. That was 2009.
Right.
Game Awards. But if you go to like the IGN outlet stuff like that, I mean, it's hit or miss, but it goes up against a lot of good titles that are coming out this year that came out, even some that came out last year, because I don't think Assassin's Creed was put in last year either.
I could be one of these people, like, when you watch the Academy Awards and you say movie, you won the best movie. Like, let me tell you something. Even if you want to sit there and hate on that movie or whatever, that is a huge accomplishment. It's something that you carry along in your career in Hollywood for a very long extended period of time in your career. I would actually say that, let's pick The Last of Us for a second. Good call on that one, Pred. So The Last of Us didn't win Game of the Year, but that game for the entire year was claimed just amazing. The whole claim to fame with the Game Awards winning Game of the Year is nothing. It's literally it's a popularity contest, and a lot of people can turn around and say, well, so's the Academy Awards. Sometimes you can see they hand it off to popularity, but most times not. I mean, the year that like Overwatch won, didn't Overwatch win one year?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
like 2 years ago.
It's like, give me a break,
And so who's gonna remember God of War in August, September timeframe?
Well, that's going to be the tale of the ages there, Pred, right? Because if a game that comes out in April holds and still gets all those tallies and votes come November, December when the show is, then it truly resonated with many, many fans. Alan, were you going to chime in?
No, I was just going to say, actually, God of War, it does actually look very good. The thing is, I was never like too, overly excited for it because I never really considered it my type of game. However, from watching some of the gameplay that's been like tossed into the video reviews and into the Digital Foundry analysis and stuff, I'm like, wow, this actually looks really fun. Like the gameplay side of it looks pretty great. Now, I don't know a huge amount about the story side of it, so that's going to be quite new to me, but Yeah, I'm really curious about it. I'm definitely tempted to pick it up.
Now
You know what's great, Predator? Predator. I'm so sorry, Alan. You know what they said is that you didn't have to play because this is a soft reboot. You don't necessarily have to have played the other Gods of War to appreciate the story in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not only you really don't have to. You don't have to at all. It really is a reboot. It's kind of, and I was thinking about that. I said, well, the minute I get done, and we'll get into this next subject in a second, is Hellblade. When I get done with that, I'm near. I would think I'm halfway through at least. And it's just I think that God of War. I'm seeing people in the chat right now. I'm reading some of these. A lot of Xbox guys are saying this is what is going to drive them to go get their PS4 crap. I mean,
or re-get their PS4. I'm seeing a lot of that.
What is that? What is that? Let me please ask this.
Hey,
Listen, guys.
Here's the true story.
Go ahead, Rob.
My brother Hellhammer got rid of his PS4.
Oh,
Zaire's gotten rid of multiple PS4s. Dog has gotten rid of a PS4. GKB and She-Wolf have gotten rid of a PS4 and then gotten it back. Let's see who else has
Assassin.
Most people nuke on me. Boom, boom, boom.
it's great.
Everybody, a lot of people have gotten rid of their PS4. So I think that's indicative of a thing, which was that for the first 3.5 years, realistically, PS4 didn't have much in terms to offer.
I think I should start a new podcast called Economics and Finance. Guys, don't do that. It is an utter waste of money. Once you buy it, even if you're kicking yourself, put it in the bathroom, do whatever you want. Just don't return it. Yeah, right? I mean,
that's my stance. Like I turn on my PS4 about once a month, but I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
sell it.
Because then when those 1 or 2 games that come out a year that you want to play, you can play them.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean, honestly, like that. So many people are just like, "Man, this is the end of the Xbox," and I'm like, "How is one of the only 2 of PlayStation 4 games I'm going to play this entire year the end of Xbox?"
Yeah, so many people on Twitter are like, "Look, it's my 3rd PS4." I'm like, "Oh, you have 3 of them?" No, it's my. I brought the other 2 back and forth.
Exactly. I do. Like when people say that to me, just imagine somebody giving them a 1,000-yard stare and just making them feel completely idiotic.
It's the Justin Timberlake gift.
It is. It's so funny. Like I am super hyped for God of War. I love that franchise. I have all of them. I have the collector's edition, even for Ascension. I have the PSP ones. I have the remakes. They remade them, the first 2 for the Vita. I have every single one of them. I am very excited. I have the $150 collector's edition of God of War. I am super excited.
Again, shout out to Jordan. She says basically the launch they're giving 170 for the vanilla PS4. I'm not saying if you have a PS4 vanilla not to trade it in and upgrade. Absolutely.
A lot of people got rid of their PS4 years ago and now are buying it back, right? Because it's the old Sony thing that they do. They come out with a console and then they don't support it literally for the first few years. And then when they finally do start supporting it, people are like, "Oh yeah," and then they go out and buy another PS4. I mean, it happened with the PS3 as well. I got my PS3 at launch, and I was playing PS2 games on it.
Well, this is the thing, and somebody was saying in the chat, Mooch, remember when you said Sony was smoke and mirrors? The first 3 years, they hid behind indie games, right?
Yeah.
They hid behind indie games. You had Colin Moriarty, one of the biggest Sony fans that he used to be on the co-show of Kind of Funny, and he was with IGN forever doing I can't remember what the name of the show was, but it was a huge Sony-based show. Beyond. And he said Resogun was his favorite PS4 game for 2 years straight.
He did.
I mean, that's mind-blowing, right? That's just super R-type.
It is.
So, I mean, like, that's what he said. So, now, don't get me wrong. This is not any, I understand where Sony fans are coming from. Now you guys are getting, somebody's got to go get that guy from 2015. Now, hit after hit after hit. Now you're getting some hits. And I think it's great. I really do. But the first 3 years really weren't anything spectacular on the PS4. I mean, you had Uncharted 4 and Bloodborne, and that's about it. And I mean, to really toot your horn.
The Order, 1886.
Yeah,
hold on. We got Drive Club. Oh wait, no, that's not a good example.
Infamous. Well, there's a couple guys saying Infamous.
Come on, man, Knack.
Yeah, Knack. Infamous wasn't very good. Persona just came out. The first 3 years, I said.
I am still stuck with Killzone Shadowfall. I can't even bring it to GameStop. They don't even want it anymore.
Nobody wants it. Guerrilla Games didn't want it. They're like, we need to make something else ASAP. Our Gears, our Halo killer ain't working.
Right. I mean, listen, if a lot of people liked Infamous, a lot of people were saying Infamous, Mooch. Infamous.
Second Son was fun.
Infamous, I think Infamous was a beautiful game. I didn't find. I mean, the world couldn't have gotten more empty.
That was fire.
You know what I mean? So that was fire.
Actually, I think
Bloodborne was a hit.
Infamous was kind of boring. The standalone, was much better. That she was a much character, the fetch character.
Yes.
I forget what the hell it was called, but
I don't know why people are saying Nier. I don't understand. Nobody. If anybody doesn't have a calendar, the first 2.5, 3 years, I don't believe. Didn't Nier Automata come out last year?
Last year, yes. That and Neo, yes.
So I mean, that was from 13 to 16.
If you waited that long for Nier, Jesus.
Yeah. You know, so
I mean, want to play Neo too. By the way.
Yeah, I said Bloodborne. And I said Uncharted. So anyone who's saying Bloodborne, Uncharted,
so you had a couple decent. You had a couple decent games there the first few years, but other than that, it was pretty lackluster. Gravity Rush. Nobody bought that, so stop trying to push that crap.
Right.
Same thing with I mean, like honestly, nobody bought it. In fact, nobody bought it so much that they shut down the servers already.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like they shut down the servers. So
what did Xbox have? Well, Xbox launched with Rise, Forza Motorsport, Killer Instinct, Dead Rising 3. Titanfall came out 3 months later. Sunset Overdrive. 4 months after that. Halo Master Chief Collection. Forza Motorsport 2. Do I have to keep going on? I mean, within the first year,
there's
they really just kind of crapped all over everything that Sony had.
That's where you saw the lopsidedness early on. And don't forget though, I mean, everyone has really short-term memory.
Street Fighter 5, which is people want to talk about a game with little content.
Street Fighter 5
at launch was the worst, the lowest amount of content I've ever experienced in a $60 game.
Yeah,
lowest ever.
Yeah, no, really. I think it let a lot of people down. I mean, it was so bad. Remember, it was $10-15 after like 6 months.
Yes, that is correct.
So I mean, it is what it is, guys. This isn't damage control. This is just stating what happened in the timeline. And now you're seeing. We've been very open on this show. We've been very open to say that now Xbox is in a drought.
Yes,
and I know that they've got games coming out this year, but realistically, even Xbox fans will say, yes, I'm very much anticipating State of Decay 2. I can't wait. Again, Zombies, I'm in it. Days Gone, I'm buying. I'm buying that, like not even knowing what the hell's going on. You got a zombie in it, I'm buying it. So, that's just the way that's my consumer unfriendly kind of move. I just go buy them. So it is what it is, but I think realistically now Xbox is in its drought and everybody's like, hey, look at you guys don't have any games. There's no doubt that Phil has said many a times they are looking into many first-party studios, whether it be acquiring them, running contracts with some of these folks that bringing them into their their household. They've got the coalition working on certain things. There's things in the works. I wish, and crap, I mean, me and you spoke to this all day today. I wish we had a better roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, the roadmap is the thing. And Phil knows it. Come on. I mean, the guy's he's a smart guy, but the problem is that you have to wonder in terms of what Microsoft is thinking. They are trying to get every gamer. I'm not sure that they're 100% concerned with like the super hardcore in terms of like something tells me, and maybe Mooch, this, that Phil doesn't care about going out there and making a game that's going to make Sony fanboys jealous. Something tells me he thinks that way, Yeah.
My thing is like, when Sony had their drought, we're getting the answer now to that drought. This
correct.
And I want to see what Microsoft's reaction is going to be to their drought.
Well, shout out to Quinn too. He says, Mooch, but here we are 5 years in. Shouldn't they be firing on all cylinders? You know what? When I got to say something, I think you're right. And that was great that you actually say that. But Phil's been very open in the last few days with tweets saying something along the lines of, it took a long time for us to get our hardware up and running. It took a long time for him. They rebooted the whole Xbox One, guys. Yeah. You know that. Yes. So Quinn, when you're asking, yes, if day one Xbox One that we all got in 2013 was still the one that was up and running and happening right now, and that the way they envisioned it going, yes, they would have no excuse. The reason there's a bit of an excuse here is they completely scratched everything they did in 2013 and started brand new in 2014. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, man. Like I've been hearing this whole thing about 2017 and stuff like that. And people don't go in with the common sense and be like, you know what? They had to do a complete 180. There was this whole power narrative that people were running wild with. So they're like, yo, let's really get into there and fix that. Let's really, make sure that the X comes out sooner rather than later and make sure it's a quality product. In terms of everything like that, and people think that they're not going to miss any kind of step, and they're supposed to be hitting all cylinders right now when they did a complete 180 to a console that was supposed to always be online and all that good stuff. Thank you, Mooch. I appreciate that.
Well, no, listen, I think a lot of us kind of see that on this end, and I kind of want to, like I said, this is not a damage control session by no means. I could tell you as Xbox being my primary console of choice, they've got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot of work to do. And to be honest with you, we all kind of shrug our shoulders at the direction that I think, and it's not just Xbox, it's Microsoft as a whole. Microsoft is kind of taking Xbox as a games as a service, and they want to put, Xbox on everything. So a lot of us shrug our shoulders at that because we're not seeing it. If they are implementing it, we don't really necessarily think they're implementing it well. Hence, I'll say this much. A lot of people, crap being one of the biggest proponents of Sea of Thieves, has taken a bit of R&R on that because of the hackers and problems they were having. Yes. And now supposedly they're handling it. We're going to try it out later again tonight. But like, to be honest with you, I think Microsoft's got to get a roadmap out to the customer.
You're never going to handle hackers on a PC until you just give the console the option to turn that off and play with the console community.
I agree with that, Bot. I agree with that. I mean, you'll agree with that, Pred. I mean, Pred, look, they said that PUBG is still having major issues with cheaters on PC.
Oh yeah. This new map I've been playing not as much, I think, because it's new and it's really fast paced, but I mean, I really don't even play on PC anymore specifically because of that. And when I have fired it up, that's exactly what happens. Like, I get killed as soon as I hit the ground and run into a building, and then I check out the cam, the kill cam, and the person's all the way on the other side of the fucking map. So I'm like, so I just, I'll turn it off and go back to the fucking Xbox. It's safe. I can play it.
Right.
It's safe.
Well, that's why we come, but see, that's why we game on consoles, because we like the closed space.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. What was I going to say? Let's move on to the next subject here. Hellblade. I really want to kind of get into this. This is a game that I really think that this is why these deals work. There's a lot of people in the Xbox community saying, and shout out to Mr. 100, who's a huge fan of the Xbox. He bleeds green. And like he's saying, guys, people have been saying you want realistic games. Here they are. Go get them.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I'm 110% behind what 100 is saying. Problem is that it's very hard when a lot of Xbox owners already have PlayStations, and they've already bought it for the PlayStation. In the case of Pred, he bought it on the PC. So I'm like, hey, Pred, he wrote me earlier today. He's like, yo, how's it looking on the X? I'm like, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. Crazy. But Pred's like, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Been telling people that, but I already bought it on PC, and I'm not going to buy it again. And to be honest with you, I would never come back and be like, no, come on, Pred, you got to go spend that money. Like, no, he already did. So that's why these deals work. That's why it brings consumers to your platform. I wish kind of the Microsoft Xbox team would see this.
Well, there's a couple of things I just want to touch on, Mooch, if you don't mind.
No, please.
Here's the thing, okay? I bought both, okay? I played it. I didn't beat it on the PS4. I got halfway through, or a little bit. Yeah, maybe not halfway through. Maybe about a quarter way through. Something came out, changed my direction. I got it on the Xbox. I bought it for a couple of reasons, not just because it was okay. I got to buy it because I buy everything. No, there's two major factors for me rebuying Hellblade. First and foremost is to support Ninja Theory. Okay, I'm a big proponent on getting behind a team that put out a game this good with the team that they did, with the budget that they had to use. Okay, It is okay. It may not be a world littered with NPCs, but regardless of that, it's still a masterpiece. And secondly, most importantly, I wear my green flag right on my back with no problem. Yes, I play everything, but I'm an Xbox gamer first. And the second reason for buying this game is to show Microsoft that yes, there is a market for single-player, story-driven, adult-themed games.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And when we and all these so-called Xbox fans that are in the chat that are listening on the replay tomorrow or next week or the week after that, go out and buy this game. If you're the people on Twitter constantly going back and forth with the Sony people about how, single player don't matter or real graphics versus cartoon. If you want these on the system, then go out and buy this game. And Microsoft is a numbers company. If they see that there's big numbers for this game, they're going to see that, well, maybe we should invest in that part of gaming.
And I don't want to interrupt you, Boom, because I absolutely love what you just said, but I just want to take a second here to approach the chat. Steve Tech, who says, hey, Mooch isn't acknowledging the donations. Guys, we're running a show here, not an auction, so I will get to them. I don't want to be like, boom, that was really good. Alan, thanks for your 2 cents. And this is brought to you by Cornflakes, folks. Cornflakes. So I apologize. But anyways, to get to it, let me just, Alan Savage, who just says, I hear rumors of a new Xbox exclusive coming at E3, maybe a new IP. Have any thoughts? Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. And thank you to PMS Jordan. I appreciate every penny. I do. But I mean, have we heard about Xbox? I'll tell you right now, Alan, Crap's got many videos on it. I think a few people on the panel have videos on it. There's going to be a new IP at this E3. Will it be one that you've wanted or the team has been asking for? What I mean by the team is the Xbox fans. That's debatable because they have given zero acknowledgement. But yeah, nonetheless, what do you think, Pred? What are you expecting? Or
I mean, it's what else are they going to bring out? I mean, think about all the old IPs. I mean, what sequels are going to bring out besides Ori 2? Like we have to have new IPs. This
correct.
We have to.
Good
point. Like, there's nothing else they can come out with besides a Gears and a Halo.
Right.
We already know Forza's coming. Like, I mean, like a Quantum Break. I mean, like they have to listen to their, when it comes to actually coming back with like sequels. Like there's a lot of sequels we're asking for and we're not seeing. So if they're not going to bring us those sequels, they have to bring us brand new, fresh IPs. It's something we've been asking for almost 3 or 4 years now, and we've still not gotten it. We've gotten reboots, and they're putting so much emphasis on X enhancements, on older games and stuff like that. And I think we're getting to the point where we're almost burned out of seeing these back compat titles come out. You see the competition coming out with brand new games and brand new franchises, and we're just getting, obviously it's free. It's a consumer friendly deal, but I think we're getting tired of just saying, okay, hey, we got this remastered. I'm sorry, not remastered. We got this back compat with 4K enhancements. We got this coming back. We got this coming from 4 years ago. We've upgraded the specs on this and this, that. You can play your old games. We want to play new games at some point. Like, where are they? And that's, I think, so like for that's the comment that he made. Well, they're coming. They have to come. I mean, let me go to another E3 with
you.
This
kind of opened up a great subject right there. Next, I'm going to give the mic to you right now. But has Microsoft lost a little bit of touch with their fan base, with their hardcore? I mean, have they, or are they so blinded by their path forward with what they're doing and they're making money that it's not that they don't care? It's not that at all. That's not the right thing to say. It's not that they don't care. But is it that they're just like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm doing this anyway?
Mooch, what we've been saying about, Xbox doing that whole 180 and everything like that. And of course, with Phil Spencer now sitting right side to Satya, there's an idea going on within Microsoft in terms of gaming in general. Now, with that being said, there's going to be a space. We had 2017. I like this year, man. I like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crackdown, Forza Horizon, even the smaller games like
Crackdown does release. I mean, there's.
I'm going by what's been said so far. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that game originally, was supposed to come out this spring, and we're in spring. So,
but here's the deal: if they're focusing on a platform that goes beyond generations, you hear the OG Xbox games, now being backwards compatible, like adding to that list. You hear games getting X enhancements and stuff like that. It's because they're building a non-generational gaming platform. Now they are going to come out with an Xbox One 2 or whatever you want to call it, and it's going to have more power and stuff like that, but they're creating a platform that like something I've never seen before, with forwards and backwards compatibility going all the way back to the OG Xbox games. And while they're in that space where they have developers developing games, they have a list of games coming out this year. I mean, why not show off that you are creating a platform like no other? No other.
Well, here's the thing, Xbot. Microsoft. Look, I think they're doing some good things, but it's clear that they. It's clear to me that they aren't really concerned with the PlayStation 4 when they should be. Because they're trying to set themselves up. Well, we got to go look at the future. The future, you're not going to have a future if a lot of your fan base abandons you, your hardcore.
Yes.
Before that future comes around, I can tell you right now, those people that are going to be gaming on the phones and streaming stuff on phones, those people aren't spending the money like we are.
No, they're not giving it
They
to
buy
them.
4 games a year, crap. You and I know it. They buy Call of Duty, they buy Madden, they buy
You're botting there, Boom. You might want to just reset your mic.
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of wanted to point this out because I just did a video on this. Because remember, they had said, "Oh, PlayStation 5 dev kits are out. It could even come out later this year or 2019." And now, of course, there's a report that came out just like the other day saying, "Nope, not before 2020." Not only that, but here's an interesting tidbit, and here's where Sony could really have a leg up on Microsoft. There's one final tidbit that's well worth expanding on. According to this article's sources, the expectation is that the PlayStation 5 will be a full-blown next-generation console and that it will run games that won't work on the PlayStation 4. In essence, leaving behind the last generation of hardware as it's been traditional in the console market. Now, here's the thing. You go, if this thing comes out in 2020, you know why that's the perfect date? Because all of Sony's heavy hitters, The Last of Us 2, Days Gone, Death Stranding,
next year,
Ghost of Tsushima, or what? I don't know, whatever that game is. But you know, all those games will have been out. They would have cleaned up. There'll be over 100 million PS4s by that time, just raking in the bucks. Then you know what they do? They go reset PlayStation 5. You know you want it because you can only play these next games on the PlayStation 5. And Microsoft might come out and go, "Hey, but we've got this Xbox 2." But you don't really need it because you can play these games on your current Xbox. I mean, people drop what they're doing for a next generation console.
Some Sony consumers are so stupid they will buy those games again as remasters on the new system and be happy about that.
Exactly. Well, of course. I mean, they're going to remaster that stuff. Oh, 4K. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a thing.
Part 2 finally in 4K.
Yeah. So I mean, look. And that's really the problem that Microsoft faces, because I get what they're trying to do, gaming without generations and stuff, but people don't really, in the majority, don't care. They in their back of their heads, they're like, that's a next generation thing.
We talked about this on Xbox Nation. This new console without generations thing is only going to help Sony at this point.
See,
Sony has, so hear me out though, Xbox. Yeah, Sony has such a lead in console sales, which normally console sales, you're like, who cares? Here's the thing. The reset button isn't really the reset button. You know what I mean? It's just not. What it ends up being is it's a continuation now because everything's forward and backward compatible. Xbox, let's just say this, for example. Let's say you haven't bought an Xbox yet. Let's say you bought your PS4 back in 2013. All of a sudden, all your friends are like, come on, Xbox. Come around, get an Xbox. And you're like, well, no, the PS5's around the corner. I'm not going to get an Xbox 2. I'm just going to buy a PS5 because all the stuff I bought is going to come with me now. So that's the whole thing. Is right now both companies are going to try to keep everybody coming with them. Now Xbox has got the 360 and the OG.
That's not what crap we're saying, though.
No, Sony.
No, it's not what he's saying. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying to you is in the fact of the never-ending generations is what we're going into. This is the fact that I'm getting with Crap's point. Is Microsoft needs to take this generation that we're in right now a lot more seriously than they are. Because you need to get as many customers. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And they need to end it quickly.
2020, you cannot have that CPU and that Xbox One holding back next generation games.
I agree.
You can't do it.
Right.
You got to end it. You got to start fresh.
Right.
I mean, I feel if the next console is a full generational leap, even if you can play it on your Xbox One that is crazy toned down or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's the software that actually makes the money. It's not the hardware, right?
Yeah,
so
but
if you have people on an Xbox One buying a game, and the people that bought the next generation buying that same game, that's more copies out there. That's more money in their pocket to develop more games. I don't see a problem with that, man.
Well, you know, here's the issue, and you know what Look, there is no bigger Xbox fan on this entire panel than Crab. And just about every question that was asked tonight, you hear his frustration in his voice. Like when he stops and pauses, that's because he wants to say something, but he's so goddamn aggravated. And I'm being serious. You know something? I'm right there with him because look, I did a video where, and I think we're going to discuss it, about how I do have confidence in Phil Spencer. Now, I do believe that his roadmap that he knows about is he fixed the issue with the Xbox One. We got the S. Dropped the bomb on us and showed us the X.
Yeah.
He said it was going to be games, games, games. We're moving to E3, which is only about 6 or 7 weeks away. We are going to get the games.
Yeah,
now,
they have a whole building. Like,
right now, the question is, what games are we going to get? I don't know, but I have to believe. And again, maybe because again, my glass is always half full rather than half empty. I really want to hang my hat on. Phil is going to listen. He's already said it numerous times. This is going to be the biggest E3 in the company's history. Yeah. I don't think for a guy that is now in the position that he's in would he tout something so ballsy and then show up to the dance with nothing.
No, yeah, you know, Fawn says it in the chat. He goes, this is what we were saying before, that he's saying that next generation is what Xbox Craft's been saying on a couple of videos too. That's the truth, but I have a concern with waiting to fight for 2 more years. And the issue I have with that is like what I was just saying, and I really don't mean to sound like a broken record here, but right now we are entering an era that's different before. When you were in the 360 era, right, and then you bought an Xbox One, okay, now we know back compat is here. But at the time in 2013, 360 and 360 games and PS3 games, they were gone. You either had the old system and you held on to them, because when you were moving on to Xbox One and PS4, those games were gone. Nowadays, with forward and backward compatibility, Microsoft not fighting as hard now is crucial to their existence moving into next gen.
That's
again,
why this E3 is going to be the. It
depends though, Boom. If it's the biggest E3 since sliced bread due to the fact of this generation, I'm with you.
Now, what is your gut
for next gen?
Because you know a little bit of stuff,
right?
That I know too, and it's like what I get from some of this information is that we're gonna have some stuff, but it might not be things that everybody is going to be happy with.
Yeah, I think from the stuff that I've seen, that basically the days of what you always thought. And I don't mean console wars as in the arguing, the bickering, the toxic. I don't mean that stuff. But I mean the days of the 2 consoles, whether it be, you know, Atari and Coleco, Nintendo and Sega, PlayStation and Sega at some point, and then also now you have PlayStation and Xbox. The days of those 2 kind of getting in the ring and duking it out business-wise, I think are kind of over. And
they're well over.
They're well over. And that doesn't mean Sony's not going into the ring battling. Sony's still pushing forward with a very
Sony's
traditional.
Still thinking old school, man.
And Microsoft is not thinking that way anymore. They're just not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Sony's a partner, not a potential business partner, not a competition.
Right, exactly, and that's a good point, Crap. We've all said that games like I just pick on Uncharted because you said it prior that Uncharted has like Havoc and this and that, and anytime you see all of that, Microsoft makes money. And now there was an article that came out. I don't know how realistic this was or not. That Xbox Live achievements will pop on the Switch soon, and
there's for Minecraft.
For Minecraft.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, when you once you get what do they say?
But here's the funny thing though, because that happens, those are monthly active users. So anybody on the Switch, that is playing Minecraft, you're an Xbox gamer. Yeah. Anybody that plays Minecraft on a PlayStation, you're an Xbox gamer. Anybody that plays Minecraft on a phone, you're an Xbox gamer. You play it on a PC, you're an Xbox. You're part of their monthly active users. This is why they push for crossplay with Sony too, because that all goes to their monthly active users. What that means, hell if I know. You know what I mean? It's that should mean 0 to us as fans, to be honest with you. Right. Because at the end of the day, it show me the games. You know what I mean? People really want that, and I think they're going to have some announcements to show this E3. I think they realize that they're coming off of. They had the best E3 out of them in Sony last year, but only by default because Sony showed everything that they showed the previous year. And then it was only 58 minutes. Like 58 minutes. Like they were looking at their clock, their watch the whole time because their fans won't even care.
That's right.
You know, they're just like, hey, we're here. Let's bring out this 3-person band, hang people from the ceiling, and we got this. Let's show Days Gone for fun. But see, this is the most ridiculous thing ever.
This is where I feel Xbox gets overly criticized compared to the other platforms. Because if any other platform, if it was the Switch, if it was the PlayStation, coming out with games that are similar to this year's lineup on Xbox, everybody would be praising and cheering it, man.
Right.
I have no idea why.
But here's the thing: the media can do that, and the media might praise and cheers, but a lot of these games are forgettable. But like, remember how Deep Rock Galactic was a thing for a day? or the Darwin Project.
But see, I wasn't on that whole thing.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like, these games aren't even Cuphead. Like, that was a thing for a couple weeks, but it's like, you know, people
But I
want
still go back and play that though.
Yeah, well, so do I. But here's the thing: people like Cuphead versus God of War. Like, wouldn't you rather have a new Halo to look forward to? There's rumors that they're having all kinds of problems.
Dude,
with
you
Halo
know how to
right
pull
now.
crap. You know how to pull my
I know,
heartstrings,
dude.
man.
I'm telling you, the thing is this, right,
That's
Bob?
true.
There's a rumors going around that they're having a lot of troubles with this next Halo. A lot of turnover, a lot of troubles. So who knows when we could see a next one of those?
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things going on right now. There's rumors of Crackdown 3 problems again. Right. Like that game might as well not. Do we even want it? If it, you know,
I just got
to
a
me,
bad feeling that
rumors-
Crackdown may not happen.
Don't.
That's
well, I mean, look, if they delay it, it was supposed to come out this spring.
That's right.
Come out
After a
last
delay
year.
and after a
Well,
delay,
it's supposed to come out last November.
You know,
yeah. So if they delay it again, I mean, what can they actually do with it? To be honest with you,
Hold on. Jay Fonz in the chat said Xbox hasn't had huge bangers this gen. Dude, what do you mean by huge bangers? Because Sunset Overdrive was a great game. Every time Forza drops, it's an absolutely stellar racing game, whether it's Horizon or whether it's Motorsport. Ori, I could go on and on with games that have been on this platform that have been bangers. I don't understand that, man.
Yeah.
See you, Thieves.
I love Sea of Thieves. I love that game.
Yeah, I don't know. Myself personally, I think that there's definitely something going on here. We've all known about it. And it's hard to kind of discuss some of the stuff we talked about with certain people behind the scenes. But like take for example the congratulation tweets. That, you know, it's one thing. I'll say this much. If you want me to concede to say it's okay, I'll say this much. If Phil Spencer tweeted out to Yoshida and Sony Santa Monica and a few others as the head of Xbox, that is a very diligent, very respectful thing to do in the business. And we all see that Microsoft is in the business to make money and they have an interest with everybody that makes games. I get that. Now, hear me out. Why is it Phil does it, Mike does it, Larry does it, the janitor does it? Like the entire Microsoft campus
Well, here's the
tweeting
thing.
it out. That's when it's like, well, come on.
That actually holds more weight if
Yeah.
you're in the lead, right? Like if someone's like beating your ass and they come back and say,
Right.
good.
Fred, that's the best
Fucking
point
games.
I've heard.
But, like,
That's a good point.
You're behind in pretty much everything right now, and you're like the little guy that doesn't get to play in the game, and you're sitting on the bench the whole time. Yo, man, good tackle. Like, shut up, dude. Like there's nothing. Like, it's different if it's coming and you're from the lead, and you're like, you know, you're the leader, and you're in charge of shit. You're running shit, and like maybe even like neck and neck. But like coming from where we at right now,
Yeah.
state of our gaming right now for the Xbox side to come back and like raw games coming out on the competing platform, it's like, because they don't do that for us.
And don't get me wrong, like, you know, the thing about it is I want everyone to just take this all in real quick. Like, sit down and just absorb it for a second. Like, the point of the matter, it's not to say to make fun of them for doing it. It's not that point at all. But it is an odd thing because I don't care what else. Let's forget gaming for a second. Let's say you're a car nut, like you love cars, or you're really into collecting sneakers. Like, I don't care what you like. Like the president of Nike is not congratulating Reebok on shit. Like, they're like, wow, you really nailed it with those pumps. No, they don't say that.
Well, here's the thing. I think the problem is that it's just the mentality at Microsoft right now. But also, you have to keep in mind that the reason why people have a problem with this, what the hell's going on in the background?
Somebody's ordering like pizza or something.
Yeah, but the reason why a lot of people have a problem with this is because it's almost conceding loss or saying you're not trying, right? When you're a good game or whatever. Like I have to be honest with you. When, you know, if you're a sports team and you're a sports fan, like I'm a Ravens fan, and my coach and the coach of my favorite team is out there congratulating the other team for scoring a touchdown on them.
Right.
That ain't going over so well, my friends.
I
you know what I mean? So that's the problem, right? And by the way, in the chat, everybody's talking about Crackdown 3. Rumors are just that, man. This game could come
it's just
out.
rumors, man.
Yeah, this game could come out and do exactly what they promised with the multiplayer.
Right.
Word is there's people testing, and the 5v5 Wrecking Ball is going stupendously.
I honestly have
exactly
very
like how it's going to be. Now, Phil has already said, "Yep, it's still coming out."
Yeah.
It's still coming out
He
this
just
year.
recently said that as well, crap. So this is
So we don't know. Like there was a rumor that there was be some bad news or something, but a delayed game can be great. A game that's rushed and put out that could be messed up forever.
Right.
So let's wait and
Correct.
see before we sit there and
Wow,
go.
you sound like the Don, man.
You know what? Listen, I'm not getting
Well,
on.
no,
the-
let's wait and see before we
Right.
sit there. How can we sit there and cheer God of War, a game that we haven't played yet, and bash Crackdown?
Well,
a
you
game
know what?
we haven't
This-
played
this-
yet?
this-
You can't
this
do
is-
either.
this
It
is-
makes no
this is-
goddamn sense. So stop being stupid.
Well, this is where my Xbox Defense
Crack that
Force is going
shit
to come up, okay? Because what I find almost hilarious is that there are people that I've been reading the chat as it's going by, and by the way, the chat is completely on fire. I think it's
Oh, hell
literally
yeah.
going so fast, and I'm
It
trying
is.
to keep up. Here's the thing, folks. Okay, if you're a Sony person and you want to tout that your company, your blue is the bluest in the world, I get it. But don't you know that yes, you guys are having a good year this year, but those games were delayed for years, years on end. Okay. Perfect example, Days Gone. Yoshida himself, live on stage, said that game was coming this year, right? He said it. He was interviewed. I watched it. Those couches, they were real low to the floor, so I'll never forget it. Okay? And he said it live on the air that Days Gone was, in fact, coming. And guess what, folks? It's been delayed. So let's just take it easy.
Not only that, you guys want to talk about a game that there's rumors floating around is not a good game. Days Gone. That's a game that's rumored that it's not a good game.
They're having a lot of development.
Is there anybody? Is there anybody talking up that? Is that a meme? Is that a joke? Of course not. It's a
No.
Sony game. How about The Last Guardian, the game that had controls that like made you feel like you were playing it with your feet, and it took 10 years to come out. Right?
It's true.
Where was anybody making fun of that
True.
game? How about Shenmue 3? Have we seen anything on this game in 5 years?
Final Fantasy
That guy was out
VII
there
remake.
Don't worry, crap. It's coming. It's
Come
coming.
on, man. Get
No,
out
I'm
of here,
saying, no,
dude.
but you know
Some
what?
of these dudes are so dramatic and so
Right.
matter of fact, right? Like they know everything, right? They
Right.
know everything. Well, if you knew everything, you'd probably be on this podcast.
Well, there you go. I like to think
No.
that, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask Boom this question. Boom, you did a video, and I'm going to quote you. I put it in the in our notes
Yes,
here.
you did. Yes.
Going into E3 2018, I have confidence in Phil Spencer, and so should you. So my question to you, Boom, is where did you come up with that for your title? Where did you come up with this idea for the video? Because right now, I mean, a lot of people on Twitter are like, I love Phil, Phil loves me, we love each other. All right, great. So, like, with all of that going on, take that out of this for a second. Like,
Right.
where do you come up with this? That how can you sell somebody on Phil Spencer right now?
Okay, because here's the thing. Okay, and I might have mentioned it a little earlier, and if I repeat myself, I apologize. He came in to a situation with Xbox
Right.
that was really bad.
Mhm.
Some people in the industry, maybe you're a little younger, maybe you don't understand economics. It was a really bad deal that he walked himself into, and he had to do a lot of repair. So what does Phil Spencer do out of the gate? He comes on stage in E3 2016, right?
Right.
Okay, so for a couple of years, he's trying to repair the damage that was done by the prior people. Okay,
Right.
Donnie D, and listen, I liked a lot of stuff that Donnie D did, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he kind of made some comments that weren't so smart. Okay, so he's trying to fix this. We get a Quantum Break, we get a Sunset Overdrive. Xbox fans like, yeah, this is great. We're having a good time. E3 2016, what does he do? He comes out, he says, okay, this is the S. This is the Xbox One S, right? Everyone's like, oh, wow, okay, it's going to fix the issues. No more 900p nonsense, right? We're going to fix that. And at the end of the show, he goes, okay, we got another shocker for you. Xbox One X next year. Boom. The mic drops. Everyone is going crazy. People IGN, they're like $500 console. Poof, I don't even got a 4K TV, right? Okay, fine. I have confidence because here's the thing. I like Phil Spencer not only as a person. I like him as the boss, and I know that a lot of people don't like this niceness. I know Mooch, especially you with the Unity candle thing, and to some extent, you are 1000% right. There is a certain limitation. Someone punches you in the mouth, you don't go shake their hand, right? You kick them in the balls.
Right.
That's what I would do if I was the head of Xbox, but I'm just Boomstick, so I don't own anything. So why I made that video and why I'm standing on this soapbox of mine that says, holding the banner, I'm not drinking a latte. I drink coffee black. So I go strong. I don't
Okay.
drink the lattes with the pinky in the air.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No,
Um,
I just picture you doing that, man. I don't know.
I want J Dubs to make a new gamer pick of you doing that. By the way.
don't
What
say
is
that.
that?
If Jay's listening, he'll do it. Don't do it.
Can I ask this question? Why does a good game coming out for PlayStation mean the end of Xbox?
I don't know.
Right.
I always
that is
You know,
weird.
it seems to happen every time there's a
That is
PlayStation.
weird. Yeah.
Look, I'll just finish it with this. Okay, Phil Spencer, and again, I really truly mean this. The guy is really the smartest guy in the room. I think he's a fantastic boss. He's vocal to some extent. If he's coming out and saying, and he said this publicly, it is going to be our biggest E3 in the history of the company. Those are his exact words.
They need it.
They absolutely need it. And I think that I'm gonna listen. I said it in the beginning of the podcast. I have zero problems putting myself out there because I have zero problems admitting that I was wrong. So
Right.
if June 10th comes and goes and June 11th, and it's the worst E3 you've ever had, I will be eating crow by the bucket and not a problem.
Here's the thing. Let me say this. The Don who stopped by earlier, really good guy. He was on Xbox Nation earlier this week.
Yes, that's a great
He
show.
had the most eloquent tweet to Phil Spencer today where he was like, I forget exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of, mature titles in the portfolio. That's still something that we should we expect, etc. It was really nicely put, and that's the way you do it. You don't go out like, here's the thing, screeching like a little ignorant child at Phil Spencer
Yes.
on YouTube, calling Xbox dead. That's not going to get there. You're not going to get anything.
No one's going to
with that,
respond
folks.
to you.
Nobody's
Right.
going to respond with that. What you got to do is you just got to say, hey, as an Xbox fan, this is how I feel. You guys could do better in this way. Maybe, give us some sort of thing. Maybe you bought a couple studios. That would that would get people kind of riled up,
Yeah.
get some blood pumping. Show Shanghai. That was a game back in 2013. Remember that? Black
Yes.
Tusk Studios.
Yes.
That got people so super hyped, right?
Yes.
Bring that back. It was, hey, guess what? Guess what's in production right now? Shanghai.
Well, there's
Woo!
still people on there's people in the Sony camp that can't wait for Death Stranding, and if you asked anybody, they don't know what it's about.
Hey, they couldn't wait for Death Stranding. Hey, we don't know if that's a game. That could be a rock,
A
paper,
walking
scissors
simulator
game.
for,
Yeah.
Yes.
Man,
People
that's
swearing Death Stranding is going to come out the end of this year.
like that. No, remember though, Mooch, I brought this up, I think when we saw footage at the Game Awards, and I was like, does anybody even know what kind of gameplay this is? And everybody's like, day one buy. And I'm like, what is it though? And they're like, I don't know, but it's weird. So day one buy.
Right, exactly. And that just proves your point that they need to start putting their roadmap out there. Show us things that are coming. There's
Yeah.
always going to be like hiccups and hangups of games that don't come out. That's fine. But you've got to keep people excited. Listen, I see a couple people in the chat saying they didn't care for Quantum Break. That's fine. But when Quantum Break was shown on E3 stage, there was hype. There was still like, wow, that's something different. I like what you're doing. You're bringing a movie.
You know what's funny
aspect
is you
to
don't
it.
see these dudes that are talking this smack right now. Where were you guys when Knack and Killzone Shadowfall were your games? Or the Order 1886 or Drive Club?
Well, the power was the definitive
Yes,
term back
exactly.
then.
Where
Right.
were you guys then, man?
Yeah.
You guys certainly weren't singing this tune. All I heard was 1080p.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, guys. I've been reading these chats for 4 years now, and back the first 2 years when there was not a lot of games. Again, don't quote me, Andrew House. One of your fearless leaders, he said we have a sparse
That's
year.
not 2013.
No, 2015.
Hey, how come you guys can bring up 2013 as a reason why Xbox sucks, but we can't bring up 2015 and
Right.
2016 as
And
reasons
power
why
was the narrative back then,
Yeah.
and that's
Like,
fine.
That's
Now
not that long ago, folks.
all it is now is the
No,
dry
somebody
spell.
said that playing God of War makes you a better dad. Does
Right.
that make it true?
I mean, some of these things are comical. I mean,
It
there's
is.
comical,
Come on,
there's
get
comical
outta
things
here.
on there's comical things on both
Get
ends.
outta
You know what I
here.
mean? So it's not about just that. But I mean, you really can't say you guys. It's not damage control. The point of the matter is, right now, Phil himself has said we are working on all of our first party games. We are
Right.
working our asses off to get these games out. The problem is that anybody knows this. It's a 3-year cycle at the shortest.
Right.
Well, the couple things that Sony has working on their advantage is that is the fact that they get a lot of those third party
Freebies.
support. Yes,
They call freebies.
yeah. So I mean, Fonzarelli, we are not at the end of the generation. We're 3 years away from that still. I mean, we could be more than 3 years away, you know, so we still got some time there.
Right.
And I think that you know, and when Sony does hit reset again and they go PS5, they're going to go through another kind of lull with their exclusives again for a few years, and it'll start all over again. This is how the cycle goes. Look back to I don't know how old some of you guys are, but look back to the beginning of the PS2 era when that was out against the Dreamcast. As a Dreamcast owner, I was much happier with the games coming out on Dreamcast at that time.
Right.
That's why I didn't get a PS2.
Yeah, when the PlayStation 2 launched, for years it had garbage titles. When the Xbox came out, the Xbox had, I thought, much better graphics, much better games, much better online. And then when you had the PlayStation 2 come out, of course, or the PlayStation 3, where are the games on that? It took years. It was a running joke. And yeah, they killed it later on in the generation. But at first, the first few years were just dry. Right. It was so dry that the PS2 was still outselling the PS3 for a while. And there was nothing out there. I bought one for Metal Gear Solid. Right. What was it? Metal Gear Solid 4.
There's always, you know, like Fonz was saying.
And then the PS4 did that too, right? The PS4 did that too. It launched with nothing. And realistically, they even had Andrew House go, "Hey, we got a sparse lineup this year, guys. We're not gonna have much." Yeah, I mean, come on,
right? And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't
where
think
was everybody bitching about? Hey, where's our realistic games when you guys had Knack and Little Big Planet? And,
that's
you know
that's what I'm saying. You have to look at the timeline. You have to look at everything. And I don't think there's gonna be a PS5 or Xbox 2 next year because think about it.
They're both coming.
Those dudes talking about mature titles, man. God of War is a mature title, but y'all's last two games before that was Ni no Kuni and Knack 2. So I mean, come on, let's keep a little bit of even.
We gotta kind of keep everything on even kill, and that's a good point, Crap. I do agree with that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What's fair is fair. And when there was games before, it was power, and now that the power crown's over here, because I remember being in multiple discussions with Jack
Fonzarelli, they started making these new AAA games a year, 2 years ago, so we could have something that's going to be cooking before then. So I would assume that we're going to have, with Game Pass and things like that, they have to have content.
Right.
We're going to have some kind of game for it, whether they buy them, whether they make them, who knows? But there's going to be stuff next year.
Yeah, Phil seemed pretty confident that he's got something cooking. Now, whether I just hope that it's something that's coming out in the next 12 months. Because it really
and I got to point this out too, as an Xbox owner, right? I want them to announce more games, but I'm not unhappy with my Xbox.
No,
over the last
not at
6
all.
months, I think Xbox gamers are much happier than PlayStation gamers. You're getting God of War in a week, but guess what, man? To end the year, we did get Cuphead. We got Forza Motorsport 7.
PUBG.
We got PUBG. We got Sea of Thieves to start off. I don't care if one or two of those aren't your cup of tea. For me personally,
say what you want about Lucky's Tale. You got Lucky's Tale too.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I mean, I was trying not to bring that one up.
I like that.
I mean, we do. So yeah, we had that. Look, we got even if you don't like it, Deep Rock Galactic is a good game. Right. We've also got the Darwin Prod. There's different games, all types of games to play right now. And then, of course, we're going to have State of Decay 2, which looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, State of Decay 2 does
it's going to come out in a month's time. Yeah. So I think that's a good amount of games for the last 6 months. If you don't agree with me, then don't agree with me. But let's look at what Sony's had in the last 6 months. Knack 2, GT Sport, Ni no Kuni, and what else?
I think the Yakuza 6, I think, just launched.
Yeah, but nobody buys that here.
Yeah, it's a niche title for sure.
Those games don't sell. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? It's just like they can sit there and put them in. Like, here's what PlayStation fans do. They go, hey, Gravity Rush 2 scored really well. Let me add this to this list, even though I didn't buy it.
Right.
You know, Shadow of the Colossus, a remake. Okay, cool. Let's tout remakes now, but let's bash when Microsoft makes a 4K game for free. Right. So yeah, like, come on, man. You guys are so insane sometimes, and I tear through you like tissue paper when I have a fucking cold. So get out of here. Get out.
Well, these I gotta be honest. These conversations, I feel like if sometimes I'm stuck in a rerun.
It's like, yeah, it is, dude. Because they want to bring up, oh, Microsoft does these old games, and then they're like, then a second later they're like, yeah, you know, they sold the Shadow of the Colossus again. Come on, get out of here! Get out of here!
Crap, Mooch. This is what I see going on, and I know Mooch. You sent this before. No matter like when it was when Xbox had was the less powerful system. It was all about power, right? But we had games coming out, but it wasn't about that. Then all of a sudden, the power kind of like crown. The shoe went to the other foot. So then all of a sudden it was about games, and we went through a drought. Now we have games coming out this year with Sea of Thieves, Crackdown, all that good stuff. And people are like, well, no, it's about realistic games and single player experiences. This is what's going on. Every time
these people
there's something there for Xbox.
Is in the chat. Damage,
ignore the chat crap.
No, I'm just curious. What is damage control? I'm buying God of War. I have it pre-ordered. I have Spider-Man pre-ordered. Those are the 2 games on PS4 I'm playing this year, right?
Yeah.
How is that damage control? Because I think that Xbox has had a pretty good last 6 months.
I don't think it is.
They have the best. Not only that, but have you seen the difference between some of those games like Far Cry 5 between the Xbox and the PlayStation?
Night and day.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Come on. Get out of here. We're playing everything better. Not only we have the same games that they did, plus a plethora more, plus everything that we're playing that they're playing, we're playing it better.
Right.
But, yeah,
There's a bunch of free enhancements.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? I'm playing. I started up playing Red Dead. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's an old game, but you know what? I played about not very much of that game on the 360. So realistically, my first full playthrough of that game is going to be right now.
Yeah.
In 4K.
I'm jealous of you.
I think a lot of people are going to get to do that.
I wish I could do that.
Well, Alan, let me get Alan in
amazing.
here. Alan, you've also tried the Forza Horizon, which is brought up to snuff.
If I didn't already have like 900 out of all the gamer score in that, I'd probably play that again too.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, have you noticed big differences in those games? Or, I mean, someone like yourself that's taken a hiatus from that for a while?
Yeah, no, like going back to Forza Horizon was great. Like I've been playing that a lot the last few days, and it holds up really well on the 4K display. Like it's crazy to think that the game was released in 2012. Like it's very, very sharp, and what I've been doing is I've been racking up a bunch of the achievements that I missed out on when it first came out. That's what I've been doing, and it's great. And as for Red Dead Redemption, it's kind of interesting. A few days before it was enhanced, I decided to go back to it because I just felt like playing it. So I was playing it in 720p on my 4K screen. So I saw like, the blurriness and all that. And then when it gets enhanced, I can immediately see the difference because I had only been on it, a few days beforehand. And it's crazy. I completed Red Dead Redemption when it first came out 100%, got all the achievements. Right. Now I'm just going back to it again, and I started up a new save profile just to replay through the campaign, and it's stunning, It's
I think that's
4K.
I think it's what it really comes down to is, I mean, we have to stop and think about this for a second. A lot of people in the chat are saying that they want to play big time games on their X. The thing about the X that I've said for weeks now, okay, is it's been a Band-Aid. It was to stop the bleeding of the peas. Yeah. And it did that. So now it did that
brilliantly to the point where nobody even remembers.
Nobody even talks about it. It did it so well. Resolution talk's gone.
Yeah. When you bring up that there was resolution talk, they're like, no, it wasn't.
What resolution? How do you spell resolution?
What is that?
Yeah,
Grassgate, was that a thing?
So I mean, but now you have Microsoft, which they're working on their first party. They're working on getting these games out. What are they doing in the meantime? Like Alan and Crap are just saying,
crying about it's not going to get them any faster. To be
honest, no, it's not Crap, but it really is the "What have you done for me lately" show. That's what it's turned into. That's what gaming's turned into. What have you done for me lately? And nobody cares the minute you say something to somebody about like 2017. Like that was 2017. I'm like, yeah, it was 4 months ago. But nonetheless, everybody's like, no. What about tomorrow? So it's all about what have you done for me lately. It's just like sports. So in that essence, you've got Microsoft coming out giving you OG Xbox games. They're giving you more 360 games. They're trying to shoot as much stuff as possible, and even Game Pass. Even Game Pass for $10 a month, you get every new game they're going to come out with this year, and then everything else. Halo 5's in there, Gears is in there, everything's in there. Everything they've got is in there. They're like, listen, we're sorry, we're building up new games. In the meantime, play these, and we're enhancing them. Even shout out to, like we were saying this in the pre-show, Rod Ferguson, who was saying basically Gears 2 is exquisite. And he says a lot of people don't talk about this, but Gears 2 seems to be like Halo 2. It seems to be Gears fans' home away from home title. Yeah. And the fact
that was the first one that I really got into in the multiplayer.
Right. That's what he was saying too. Yeah. He said the maps in the multiplayer for Gears 2 are still the ones that they're calling for them to implement into Gears 4. You know what I'm saying? To be able to put some of those retro maps back in. So this is what Xbox has been doing as of late. Speaking of that, getting off the Microsoft trail here. The Division recently, and Boom and Clowns, their fans. Their fans. Well, I guess even Pred to a certain extent. I mean, let me tell you something. There's been a lot of great debate. Okay, a lot of great debate on everything we've talked about. this is one of the ones where I just shrug my shoulders and I'm like, isn't this a day, is it a day late and a dollar short? Like, this is just, what is it, folks? What
I was going to say is that what popped in my head when you were just talking is, who cares?
Exactly.
That's what I...
That's exactly what goes through my head.
The monologue I heard when you were talking. Okay, look, here's the thing. Okay, obviously, I'm a huge Division fan. I play with my brother. I play with friends that we grew up. I was on with me and Bam. We played about an hour. We did a couple of missions the other morning. It was freaking awesome.
Right.
I can say this. I took a picture with my camera, not with the system, with my camera, and I put it out there on Twitter. And what I found to be, for a person has put 1,000 hours into this game, the sharpness and the detail were mind-blowing. The 4K update was so right in your face. Like, you saw the clips on his pants, and you could read behind him the pretzel sign from the old wagon that was broken down. That is how sharp it was. Now, again, the game may not be your bag, and I get that.
Not my bag, baby.
That's not my bag, baby.
It's not for everyone.
I will say that it looks like what we were originally promised at E3.
Yes, it does.
Years ago.
You know what I hate?
You know what
I hate? Crap. I hate that I do an Austin Powers sounding a lot like William Dafoe. Anyways, right? That's not my bag, baby. It's like Christopher Walken doing it. But anyways, you know what the thing is, Boom, you've kind of sold me on reinstalling it and playing it, like just to see it. But it's kind of like anything in New York City that's great, right? You're like, and this right here is Rockefeller Center. And you're like, all right, everybody, get the family over there, take a picture, and let's continue to get to the pizza place, please.
Well,
yes. And let me just do a real quick shout out to Michael Curcello. Thank you so much for that donation. And thank you, Sir X-Men. Appreciate that.
Mike is
Go ahead, Xbot.
But check this out. This is because you said it's a day late, dollar short.
Yes.
If it was just a regular like 4K upres, which I was asking Boom earlier because I haven't tried it yet, I would say, yeah, a day late, a dollar short. But I'm reading right here, 4K resolution, expect better reflections, object detail, as well as screen space shadows as well. So that is the improved textures, the high resolution textures. That is the better lighting, shadows, everything.
Xbot, is there anything in there that comes with a long division tool to figure out what gun you're supposed to use?
No.
Okay. No, because it's like, hey, Boom. Hey, Boom, what should I have, Boom? And Boom's like, oh, come on,
well,
Mooch. Pull out your 10,472 scoped gun. What?
I think what the cool thing is like you can really tell the native 4K difference on that game.
Oh, absolutely. The game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that's one of the games where you can really kind of tell the difference in terms of that, and it just does look like a unmatched experience, I guess. Like for me, I'm not going to go back and play that game because I already did put a lot of time into it, but. I did boot it up and play it, and man, it looks really, really good.
Right. I agree with you, Crap. I do want to say that. Let me just come on the record to say that it looks outstanding. Yeah. I'm not sitting here telling you it doesn't. I think it looks great.
Here's the thing for me, Mooch. Like, you know how I am with those type of games, like Destiny and stuff. Like, I don't know what level you have to be or what guns you got to use, or you know what I mean. Like that stuff.
Yeah, but they were easy layman's terms. You can say that, Crap. But if you literally play Destiny for about a half an hour,
stop pushing Destiny.
I'm not pushing it. I'm not pushing Destiny. It's not dead. 3's on the way. Believe me.
Is it?
Oh, absolutely. But nonetheless, what I was going to say to you was that it's just that the Division had such potential. And the reason I have a little angst against it is you're actually talking. You won't believe this, folks. I actually loved the goddamn thing when it came out. I loved it.
Oh, that was a hell of a first week.
It's the only game to ever give New York a goddamn tip of the cap.
That survival DLC, man, that's something you got to check out.
That's the tip of the cap. They have a disease, Mooch.
Yeah, right. But yeah, listen, let's get into this, guys. I do want to discuss this. So, I put Radical Heights bombs. There was a report that came out that said after it launched on Steam, and it only had 1,000 more active members than Lawbreakers, and Lawbreakers ended with like 14 people. So this wasn't good. Now, I'm hearing that maybe it's gotten a little better, but I did watch a bit of footage on IGN that got
Was it a closed beta or was it an open beta?
It's not a beta. It's an early access.
Oh, okay.
What was it, Pred? Go ahead.
I think it's free on Steam.
It is free.
And why is Cliffy B giving out free codes for it on Twitter?
You can buy a founders
Get people
pack
to
for
play it.
15. There's a founders pack out there for
So it's
$15.
free.
It comes with extra
What I
stuff.
don't get is Cliffy B
Right.
like kind of forged himself ahead with stuff that had never been done. If you look at like Gears and stuff like that, right? He did like Unreal Tournament and those type of games and kind of revolutionized stuff. And then you look at his last 2 games and they're very much copies of
They're
popular
clones.
games.
Yeah, they're clones.
You know, so yeah, like I don't know if that would you know that if that's going to appeal to the masses, especially he keeps sticking to PC. And it seems like that's a real fickle group, and they go game to game unless it's something that they really, really like.
Right.
You know, like Counter-Strike or whatever it is. And I don't know, like.
Well, here's my problem with it.
Mooch,
Go
with
ahead,
this
go
game,
ahead.
I just want to say, with this game has only been in development for 5 months, and I guess going towards the PC side of things, it's easier for them to take that really rough around the edges, really kind of like, you know, only been in development for 5 months game. And put it on Steam that way, and then develop it from there. Man.
I understand that, Bob, but has anybody seen the movie Multiplicity with Michael Keaton?
I love that movie.
Okay, do you remember? Yeah, I did too. But do you remember when they got to Steve, who was like number 4?
Great party, Steve.
It was a carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy, and that's where you had the problem. And the problem with Radical Heights is it's a copy of a copy. So PUBG comes out. Fortnite does their thing. Fortnite actually steps into the limelight and takes off. Good for them. That's not done very often. By the way.
Unexpected. Wow, too, man. I was just like,
Right?
that's
Yeah, out of
really
nowhere. And I want to say
unexpected.
shout out to Jez Gordon, who's in the chat. Thank you, Jez. Big
He's,
fan of your work.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
And
well,
thank you
he's
very
he's
much.
after 1 a.m. where he's
Yeah,
at.
so he goes, can't sleep. Believe me, Jez, that's why we're all gamers. I think we all have problems. I'm going to sleep early tonight. Yeah, that's like 3 a.m. That's early. So I'm with you, buddy.
We're out
Thank
on
you very much for the help.
after the
But
stream.
do you see the problem I'm having here at Radical Heights? It's actually a copy. They're trying to do what Fortnite did and take pieces of like PUBG, and then they're adding a little splash of like Cliffy B's, I say this with a chuckle, brilliance. And they're putting all that together, and they're like, here, look what we have. Now, I'm not saying Radical Heights won't work out in the long run, but right now, to me, that's cheeseball. And when you have the talent that Cliffy B has in his fingertips to be able to create in gaming, it seems like such a waste. And Xbox, you were saying this a second ago. What's the deal with saying that this was a passion?
Deal with peanuts?
What's the deal with this?
Or is it a nut? I don't
Right?
know.
Why would you make a game and release it after 5 months? No, I don't understand. Why wait? Why not wait a little longer and refresh? Did you guys see when you walk into the supermarket in that game? There's nothing in it. The supermarket, the shelves are just 3 gray lines that separate them. They're dividers.
Lawbreakers as fast as possible.
Right. He's trying to forget. Well, yeah, I think he's also trying to capitalize on Battle Royale before we all get sick of it. Go ahead, Crab.
I was just gonna say it's again with the PC stuff. I just feel like he would maybe find a better audience if he were also to bring that to the Xbox preview program. You know, I don't know.
Yes.
Did you also see yesterday that David Jaffe went to Microsoft for Drawn to Death and they turned him down?
Yes, they did. He did make a joke though. Didn't he make a joke about the game?
Yeah, he was like, and we know how that game turned out.
How that
anyway,
turned
so-
out. You know, shout out to David Jaffe. Actually, really cool guy. I had a talk with him one time on Twitter. It was an interesting talk nonetheless. But the point being is that he's actually pretty cool to come out and say
Yeah,
that.
you know what? I mean, yeah, that is interesting. Microsoft at least had enough foresight to kind of say no to that.
And they somewhat said no. What was the deal again? If anyone knows on the panel, I know Crap, you kind of did a video on this about what happened with Cliffy. Did Cliffy B go to Microsoft, or Microsoft said they would help him with Lawbreakers, but something didn't work out?
Here's what happened, and this was behind the scenes stuff that actually somebody told me not to mention it, but they're not here today, so I guess I'll mention it anyway. I've mentioned this before anyway.
Right.
Apparently Phil Spencer, and again, this is like kind of just heard from somebody who was kind of there, but Phil Spencer went to Cliffy B and was like, and this was last year, and goes, you want a spot on our E3 stage, you can come out and demo Lawbreakers and, you know, put it on the console and stuff. And he turned them down. He wanted a bunch of money, and Sony were the only ones that wanted to pay money.
Right.
So I mean,
Okay.
I guess, and that's why he went with Sony.
He gambled wrong.
He did.
Yeah. You
know?
chose poorly.
He chose.
Well, let's talk about this, guys, because we are this conversation is probably going to take us right into 9 o'clock time in New York. Sea of Thieves. here we are. We're not a month into it, and me and Crap had some amazing, by the way, classic, great podcasting debates. And my concern is somewhat come to a reality, but I think because the Sea of Thieves folks at Rare have given us a roadmap. I'm a little bit alleviated, and I'm excited to see what they got coming. But here we are. What do you guys think? I'm not going to give my opinion. Everybody knows my opinion. I'm going to start with let me start with Clowns. Clowns, you've been a huge fan of this game. Clowns,
Absolutely.
what's your take on Sea of Thieves? Here we are 3.5 weeks later. We're not even a month in. Is it doing what you thought it would do? Is it deceased? Is it moving forward? Or are we just in a holding pattern?
I think it's doing what I thought it would do. As much as I love the game, I mean, we need more steady content for people to stay on it. Because people, when it comes to games, if it doesn't intrigue you or content's constantly dropping, you're out of it. And then on top of that, we got the PC cheaters, which they're trying to deal with. But you got those two problems at the same time. And, what incentive is there for people to go back on the game?
Great point, Clowns. And what I kind of want to harp on a bit here is that actually both of those problems are equal. I mean, some people could argue that, of course, the cheating is worse. But the problem is now we're at a point where I've played this game a ton. Crap's played it a shit ton. And we're at a point where I've said to you guys, hey, that's a pretty cool outfit you guys got on. Oh, that's a pretty cool sail. It's a pretty cool boat. But at that point, the next boat, sail, or outfit that's another 80,000 or 100,000 coin isn't that intriguing to me. I see you guys and I'm like, all right, that's good. And now that we're always playing in groups of 4 and Crap has the cool Admiral boat, I said, you know what? I don't even want a boat anymore. I don't need a boat. So I just play with Crap and take the Admiral. So
that's true.
Right? So, I mean, half the stuff that's on there to buy, I don't really need anymore because I'm not playing that alone. So when I'm playing with you guys have cool shit.
Here's what they're doing. They're bringing players together in interesting ways, encouraging different types of player encounters. So they actually want players to work together instead of just always like going after each other. Enriching the world that you have an adventure in, giving players new ways to play, giving players a variety of different goals and rewards, broadening the journey to be a pirate legend and beyond. So Sea of Thieves, the focus for April is to continue addressing the top feedback points. But as they move into May, they shift to new content. The first content update, The Hungering Deep, will release in May, and it'll bring with it a new AI threat to the world. Crews will have to work together to discover and defeat this threat as part of a unique event. They're also going to be introducing a number of new mechanics to assist players on this adventure. And there will be unique rewards that players can earn as part of this event. Beyond this, we'll begin our weekly events program. So they'll do weeklies where they introduce new mechanics and give players fun new ways to play with weekly events and rewards. In the summer, they're going to debut 2 more content updates with Cursed Sails, which will include a new ship type, and Forsaken Shores, which will introduce players to a perilous new part of the world to explore. So you're getting a larger expansion to the world.
Right.
Similarly to The Hungering Deep, both of these updates will include new gameplay mechanics for players, new AI threats to challenge, and new unique rewards to claim. As always, they've said we never wanted to do anything to separate our players, so we're pleased to confirm that it's all free, no additional costs.
That's good to know. Now, one of those things, and shout out, I don't know if Jez is still in the chat, but I saw Jez tweet this out, and one of the things along with what Crap just read off said weekly, it was like weekly challenges or weekly missions.
Weekly events or whatever,
events, and that's a big deal. That's something that I said we really, truly needed to have ASAP. That's something that, and I know I'm not making the correlation. I'm done with that. That argument's getting stale. But I'm just saying the one thing that if you were even not linking up with your friends in Destiny, I would just get on at night. I used to go do my dailies. Or they had dailies and weeklies. You go do those things and shut it off. And you know what? You might go, that's all you did? Well, it was a 40-minute run. And if you did it every day / once a week too, you had 30, 40 minutes a day of a game that's going to last a long time. And it kept you occupied. And I think Sea of Thieves, if they do this, I don't mind getting on, actually grabbing a sleuth boat and just going out and running a quick daily.
In fact, tonight, I want to try to get the 20 chest thing finally.
I'll do it. I'll try again, Crap.
Yeah. We can get Clowns in there too. See if we can't get those 20 chests.
Crap,
that would be great.
I'll let you know I have experience in this because I had 37 treasure.
You know what annoys me though, because I saw that thing on Twitter come across that says your achievements that you earn will unlock. So I was like, great. I hopped on, no intention really to play, And then boom, I did get a lot of them, and I looked at that one, and it still didn't pop. So I'm pissed. I'm like, man, we did 21 chests. They weren't like they were actual treasure chests. I don't like maybe there's a time that you got to have them on your boat. I don't know.
Oh, we did them pretty quick, crap. We didn't really have any downtime.
Yeah, and then we were like, let's trade them in because that'll work. And I was like, trading them in doesn't sound like how it'll work because
No.
Yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. That sounds great. Like, I'm really excited for that content. It does push back the pets thing a little bit because, as you probably guessed, Mooch, with people complaining about the content, they're going to have to rush some of that out.
Right.
So they got to push back the big content drop that they were going to have 3 months from now.
Right.
So, I mean, but look, here's the thing. People that are like, it's dead, it's dead. To me, I would think that a game like The Division is dead, but apparently it has more players now than when it launched. Rainbow Six. I have 0 friends playing that game, but they just announced 30 million players.
30 million, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like apparently Ghost Recon Wildlands. I have nobody playing that on my friends list, but that has like 20 million. Like, so it's easy to sit there and go, well, I don't have anybody on my friends list playing it, but there's obviously a lot of people still playing these games. And with the continual content updates,
and Game Pass.
And Game Pass, I think it's going to continue to do well. Phil Spencer seems very thrilled with the numbers on it. It's still number 3 in the UK charts the 3rd week in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I should say something. It's a different kind of game. It's not for everybody. I don't know why people have to go, this game comes out now, so let's compare it to God of War because that's the next game. That was the most ignorant thing to really complain. That's like saying comparing NAC 2, which was the last PlayStation game, to Forza Motorsport 7.
Right.
And go,
Crap.
you know,
I have an important message for you.
yeah.
Someone says they heard you need 20 chests in Sea of Thieves. They're ready.
Oh, do they? Well, I mean, we got you, me, and Mooch, and maybe somebody else. So I don't know.
Somebody sitting on a boat with 20 chests?
No, we're not that lucky.
Oh,
I mean, we could ask Assassin to start doing that, right?
yeah, that wouldn't be a bad
yeah,
start.
yeah.
There's
we
the
never
joke.
get in there. Yeah, we never get
That's
in there
the
because
joke.
he'd have to be able to full galleon. But I do like that they got different ship types, and there's limitless stuff, and it shouldn't take that long for them to implement some of this stuff.
Let me ask someone like Alan. Alan, I understand that you have not played 100 hours of Sea of Thieves, but you know, I know that you're predominantly an Xbox fan. I know you have played it. I know you've been around it through the E3s, and now here it is. It's 3 weeks into its launch. What do you think about the game from what you've heard from this? I mean, does this game, will it withstand the sands of time, or is it going to slowly kind of die off?
I think it'll have a long life cycle. Like,
Yeah.
you look at games like, The Division and Rainbow Six you were just talking about, and it's like, if someone came to me, and said, you were going to play The Division, I'd be like, well, that game's a little bit dead now. But as we were saying, it has like more players now than it's ever had. Like same with Rainbow Six. So I think Sea of Thieves is going to have a long life cycle. I really do. I think it's definitely something that is definitely going to last, throughout the rest of this generation. Anyways, like, the thing is, I think Xbox Game Pass is a good help for a game like Sea of Thieves, services working together. I think that makes a lot of sense for them. And as I've said before, if they can do, those GTA Online style updates, then Sea of Thieves will work very well for them. And guess what? The updates they announced today, they're GTA Online style updates with various themes. That's exactly what Rockstar does with GTA.
Yes.
Sea of Thieves are doing it with their own unique style and flavor.
And to top that off, Alan, Rare doesn't have to go through a bunch of the rigmarole that other games do to get updates through. They can just do the quick little, put it in. Yeah,
I believe they're the only Xbox One game that doesn't have to do.
I think that the only thing I would say that, and I agree with everything Crap said. I agree with everything that Alan said. I think this game's going to be around for a while, and I think this game, and just like you got Boom and Clowns here and Pred that are so excited about the Division's upgrades and this and that, and the content that's been dropping and still will be dropping. They gave a roadmap.
Let me make a bold prediction. By the end of this year, we'll have heard that 10 million players have played this game.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to announce sales, but they'll say 10 million players.
Right.
Yeah. Take that back. I know some little ignorant person is going to record that and go, Crap Gamer said this.
Right.
I mean, we're in April. I can guarantee you by the end of the year, we'll have heard that 10 million people will have played this game.
I do have to say, though, we're not going to beat the content. We're beating that thing like a dead horse. The one thing I will say, I am surprised with the problems. And shout out to Buju Ram.
Yeah.
That's
When
something I say that's not
you lost your
acceptable. Crap.
gold.
Well, I lost my gold. I had
He's like,
70,000
crap,
gold. I wrote crap like he was some kind of ambulance for fucking Sea of Thieves. Who did you call? 911? No crap.
You know my response was,
yeah, he sent me UHHH ... I dropped my phone. That's what I did. I was like, if he doesn't have a remedy, I'm screwed. I did get my Z Black Rider goes drink quickly. No, I agree with you. Like
I 70,000, which if anybody knows, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, 70,000 coin, and I had spent a bunch too, and like I was like, that's a lot of coin, but it did come back. I reset the game, and it did come back. But the thing about it is, like the issues they're having with the servers, the maintenance. The maintenance is twice a week, and it's for. I feel bad for the folks in the UK because, to be honest with you, crap, the maintenance times that they have, I think it's 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time. That doesn't really truly hurt us that much. I mean, even when it's over, it's still morning here, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's always like, you know what's funny is I'm always at work, and then it's like servers are back up, and I'm like, okay, good, I'm at work.
You're like, good, that's good to know when I get home.
I heard these latest patches really fixed the some of the cheating problems, so I'm excited to get back in. I said I love the game. Nobody.
What about the Chivos crap?
The achievements popped when I got on there, except for the 20.
Okay, so they're popping.
Yeah, I got hit with like 10 of them when I logged in this morning.
Wow, well, I'd be interested to try that out. I would be.
Yeah, I'm telling you, after this show, man, we're gonna hop on.
Absolutely, no, we're gonna do a Mooch streams, folks. So in case you get your Crossfire and you're like, I just can't get enough Crossfire, it's gonna be Crossfire Part Duh. So, anyways, we've got that coming up. But you know what? Let's go full circle here, folks. So with all the hype and everything, and you've got Boom did a video along with everybody in the gaming media. It says that God of War will be their game of the year. What is going to happen in September when Spider-Man comes out? Can it honestly trump God of War? An internal, a civil war in the Sony
here's the thing, right?
portfolio.
Like, what's funny, Mooch, is that remember Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2? There was a little bit of hoopla over that.
Right.
It didn't release digitally. You can't buy that digitally on Xbox.
No.
You have to buy it physically. And if you want to buy it physically, even used, it's like $40 right now. For some reason, I don't know what the hell the deal is.
I still have it. That's crazy.
So it's interesting. That game's going to do phenomenally well because Insomniac are gold.
They
really are. Like again, that's for a guy that supposedly hates Sony. Man, I got $300 invested in 2 collector's editions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm excited about that game. I'm hoping that Insomniac does for Spider-Man what Rocksteady did for Batman.
Nice.
Right?
Yes.
That's my hope. And I'm very optimistic about that. Reason why is because I got to be honest, some of the Spider-Mans that I played recently were pretty bad.
They're horrid. Yeah.
So I'm confident. Like my bet on the Spider-Man Collector's Edition is my bet on Insomniac. They do great stuff.
Yes, you're putting your money on Insomniac.
Yes.
That's a smart bet, okay?
Like if this was Beanox making a Spider-Man game exclusively for PlayStation 4, I'm not going to be all in for $150. Right. Insomniac, those guys, man, even Song of the Deep, which was, I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was a good indie game. That's their
Metroidvania sub game. It was,
It was
now,
really
I will say this much. I watched Game Informer, which everybody knows. I have my Game Informer. I actually have the magazine right in front of me, Spider-Man edition. I have it right here.
Yeah, I have it too.
But I was watching the 5-minute, they were showing you how the fighting mechanics were going to work. And it was, I got to say one thing. So I learned something, and I put Spider-Man on a higher tier than I had it. And then I got a little concerned when I was watching the video too. So the fighting mechanics and the way that they've actually got Spider-Man handling the enemy, the enemy AI, it's outstanding. It is outstanding. It really is. Now, here's where I had a bit of a problem. I did notice, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging it by this. I'm just saying they showed 5-6 snippets. Everything kind of looked like the world in Infamous Second Son. It's all very empty, and there's like 3 bad guys or 4 bad guys on this big area. And I'm like, what's going on? Where's everybody? And when you're fighting these guys, and the guy from Insomniac was showing multiple scenes of action sequences, and it was the game. And the fighting was impressive. It was great. You felt like Spider-Man. I was like, holy shit. But there's 3 AI enemies, NPCs, whatever you want to call it, and like they're just, I just felt like it was another I hope that it opens up and expands and there's more enemies. I hope it's not another Infamous Second Son where it's this beautiful game and everything looks so good, but it's just so blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's sort of like they're mentioning Batman. Like if you look back to the Batman games, those are kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess Rob, I guess you're kind of right there. I
Which is
felt like
interesting
Arkham City was a little bit more engulfed though, crap, because you had like 6, 7, 8, 10, sometimes 12 enemies coming at you in the
but in little they were in little
condensed.
patches, like little patches here and there.
True.
So and then like what was it in Batman Arkham Origins? It was like everybody was their workaround was everybody was hiding.
Right.
Because, you know what I mean? So like I get that. Which is funny because I have the Arkham collection and I hadn't played through I played through the remaster of Asylum and I started playing through City last night.
Yeah.
And I just forgot how good that game was. What's cool about that is
City's great.
Bat suits.
Yeah.
I'm like using the old like 1960s bat suit.
Yeah.
It's badass, man. I'm having a good time with it. I like those type of games. It just reminds me that you know what, I know a lot of people and like you'll say nostalgia is a hell of a drug. For this generation in particular, I'm just finding myself not having as much fun with the newer games. They aren't games that I can just sit back and kind of chill and have fun with as much as last generation. That could be a me problem, but I was talking to Hellhammer about that too, and he kind of agreed, which was, you could just kind of, there's some really great games this generation, but it's like Hellblade's a good example. People love this game. I have it on PS4. I got it on Xbox One. Everybody's like, this game's so good. I'm trying like hell to get into it. You stare, looking puzzles. You're looking for like different things. Like that's not fun to me. Like I get why people might like it, but for me, going around and backtracking and then like I looked for an hour for some kind of thing that looked like an H. Like I just I give up.
I get
you know
it.
What I mean?
Yeah, no, I get your point. The thing about those types of games is you got to like the puzzle games. Let me answer Crap's point, and I want to hear the panel.
I had that problem with Shadow of the Colossus. I couldn't figure out how to get up on some of those Colossus.
Yeah, some of them you got to go to like something on YouTube and take a look. There was a couple that were a bit puzzling. It was just odd. I had people writing me after I had beaten it. They were like, "Hey, Mooch, how the hell do you get past this one?" I'm like, "Well, you got to actually wait till the actual Colossus lifts his left foot and then shoot an arrow."
Mooch, and I could look on YouTube and find a walkthrough. That takes you out of the game.
It does. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. But every once in a while, if it just needs to get you literally get it over the hump and shut it off. But I mean, my whole thing is this. I do want to answer this much for you, Crap. And Adam Sessler said this. A lot of the great reviewers, anyone you respect. I hang out a lot with JKB. He does a lot. His whole channel was based off reviews. So the one thing that he had said to me, and I remember Adam Sessler did a couple when he was with Rev3 Games, he said, being a reviewer, everybody goes, you have the best job in the world. You get these games for free. You get to play video games all day. It's so wonderful. And he goes, don't get me wrong. It is fantastic. But he said the thing about it that's not fun is he's like, you got to play the game. You got to beat the game. You've got, depending on when you get the review copy, you only get it for X amount of days. That's their story. But even for someone like you, Crap, who sometimes you do get the review, sometimes you're doing the review on day one. And the thing about it is because now the YouTube world, I think that what you used to be able to enjoy in the 360 era was like, here comes a game. You didn't care. Even if you got another game that came out day one, you'd backlog that and play the one that you loved. There was no rush. I think a lot of people with the internet, that being Twitter, and it's not just Crap. I'm saying this is across YouTube. Anyone that does that, we've all feel like it's like we got to do the next. Oh, the next one's coming out soon. Oh my God, I got to hurry up and get Far Cry 5 done because what do you call it? God of War's coming out, and when God of War's done, oh, we got State of Decay 2, and I've got Detroit Becomes Human. So then, Alan, you know this, right? You do tons of reviews, and it's like, isn't it pressure?
Relate to it. This is why when I changed websites, I switched to just focusing on racing games and a couple other games I enjoy. I had to narrow down my focus because there's so much happening. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like I was getting to a stage where I was getting completely worn out by it. And I'm like, I needed something to reinvigorate my love of gaming. And the Xbox One X actually came out at the perfect time because that console reinvigorated everything I love about games. And
I'm glad you said that, Alan.
Yeah, it definitely inspired me to really, push for the new side and focus on the games I really enjoy, Forza being that #1 headlining title. But I also dive into other things too, like Sea of Thieves and other titles I enjoy as well.
That's what I appreciate about what you and Predator too. Pred, you say that all the time too. Sometimes I'll go, "Hey, Pred, what do you think about this?" Right on the air, and Pred will go, "Honestly, Mooch, I don't have an opinion on it because that's not my style of game." And you know what? that's actually a-okay. And I mean, Brad, you speak to that a lot of times. People are always asking you your opinion on stuff, but you predominantly like your realistic shooters. But what games you dabble outside of that?
I've been getting more into RPGs. Like I've been playing the Kingdom Come Deliverance a little bit. I've been playing a lot of not just I play a lot of third-person shooters just for Uno. Inside joke there.
But I agree with you guys. And Crap, I've said this to Crap offline. I'll say it on the air. I won't say it to him. I'm going to say it to myself. Because we do so many shows and we talk about everything, and people always want you to be kind of in the know. It's like you got to kind of try to experience everything, and it does take you a little bit out of your gaming traditional habits. So with that being said, I think that's the reason. That's my 2 cents on why I think because you do YouTube and you review and you do so many things. That's the same thing Sessler said. It's the same thing JKB. There's everyone else that has done it. There's a lot of people that review in mainstream media that I don't give credit to.
Mooch, I gotta say, I definitely agree with you that especially this generation, everything seems to have been like sped up, which is one of the main reasons why I have made it my goal to not change the way I approach video games and stuff like that. I'm not looking at it like, damn, I really got to get through this game because this game's coming out, and then I want to play that one, and I got to beat that one because before you know it, this game's coming down like 2 months down the line. We can't think about it like that, man. I never did that throughout.
You have been able to juggle it pretty good, Xbox. But then, for example, what games this generation have you? And I'm using the words cut out, not because you didn't think they were good, but what games did you cut out so that you could enjoy the other ones that you are playing thoroughly?
Well, here's the thing, like Hellblade, for instance. I have had people on social media tell me I need to buy this game, and I have voiced, I have some concerns about that game in terms of the gameplay mechanics, in terms of the combat. I thought the combat looked very repetitious. I heard from a few friends that the ending falls off a cliff. So when it comes to that, I'm not gonna just because everybody's saying, "Oh man, you need to get this game." I'm not gonna pick it up because of that. But a game like Extinction, that when I first saw gameplay on, I had interest in, even though for some rhyme or reason, I guess there was a reviewer out there who gave it a 1.5. Now, to that reviewer, you are stupid as all hell.
What game was that?
Extinction.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, the big troll ogre type.
Yeah, I know what it is. I was actually interested, but it's like I already got so much stuff to play right now. It's like
I was interested in that, so it was like either get Hellblade or get this game, and I would rather play that game. That game, like it scratched an itch.
I probably would have had more fun with that game too.
Yeah, so that's where I went. I'm not gonna go and because
is there puzzles or do you just go hack shit?
You have to save civilians as well. There's smaller type trolls. There's like these crystals where you teleport the civilians out of the way as like the huge trolls are destroying the city. There's small ones, there's flying ones. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on like while you're in that world. And it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. You can upgrade your character. You can upgrade the abilities. You can do things quicker. It's there's a lot to that in terms of the mechanics, the gameplay, and it's a game I like. So I'm not gonna say you know what, I'm gonna hold off on Extinction because everybody's telling me I need to buy Hellblade.
So dude, here's the thing, Xbox. You're perfectly fine with that. I remember I bought the hell's that game that was like that was a lot like Crackdown. What the hell game was that?
Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah, Agents of Mayhem, right?
I remember
a lot of people were like, "Why are you gonna get that game?" And I was like, "Dude, yeah, I wanted it. It might not be a game that everybody."
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
I liked it. So it kind of is what it is. I get you shouldn't feel bad about getting a game. Like I'll probably wait till that game's like $30, but still, man, it looked interesting.
But dude, here's the thing. Like, if everybody depended on review scores and everything like that, how are you going to find that diamond in the rough, that game that caters to you and what you like in video games? If you follow reviews and what other people say and all that good stuff, you're never going to find that game that really like scratches your itch. You know what?
Well. Let me answer your question, Xbot. You're right. You can't just go to generic IGN and see whoever they pass the disc to. That's who's playing it. When you're doing it, you're like, I'm John Smith and I just graded God of War. Who cares? Who's John Smith? But you know what's going on more and more with YouTube, Xbot? is people over the years say, people write to me all the time, and I thank them so much. Thank you to everybody who does write and say that. They're like, Mooch, I really like the way you do a review, this and that. They like the way Crap does a review. Some people like the way JKB does it. So I'm a huge fan of Adam Sessler's work back in the day. And my point being is that what you need to do is you need to find the person that you really, really kind of hit home with on a lot of different subjects in gaming. And then when they give their review, it still doesn't mean it's the say all end all, by no means.
Yeah.
But if me and you, Xbot, like 9 out of 10 games and we get along on everything, even if I don't know you, I don't even know you. I'm just like, everything this guy puts out, I'm digging. All of a sudden, when you tell me I should or shouldn't buy Hellblade, I'm probably going to listen to you because we've got that rapport.
Yeah.
But that's where, when you say, why should I just listen to a review? The answer is you shouldn't just listen to, Joe Blow from IGN and so from Kind of Funny Games that they keep handing the disc to on the weekend, and that's just one of the employees that takes it home and then writes that's where you don't have that relationship. And I think that's something you build with, your favorite comedian, your favorite this, your favorite that. You have that rapport. So I think that's my recommendation for folks is, if you haven't found a reviewer that you dig or you like, or that you haven't really when I say bonded with, I mean more like on a mental level, that's kind of the person that you should take some advice from. And I've found some lucky folks throughout the years on YouTube that I'll hit up and go, hey, what'd you think of that game? And if they tell me yay or nay, it still doesn't impact my purchase. Well, it does impact my purchase.
In the back of your mind.
Exactly. It's in the back of your mind. Anything that's in the back of your mind impacts your purchase. So it is what it is. And I think that's the good recommendation. Sorry to go off on a long-winded Mooch rant, but we are hitting the 9 o'clock, and I'm sure Crap has some sort of a GIF on the way.
He's probably already got it.
Yeah, if not, he's picking it right now. So I do want to say this, guys. This was a great episode. Okay, this was a great show. I think the chat was on fire. The damn thing was. And listen, even the guys. Listen, I got to say this much. All right, this is something you don't hear a lot of times, but there's a new wave going on out there. We are all gamers. It doesn't mean just because we're all gamers doesn't mean we like the same stuff. So if you're coming onto an Xbox Central show, you do have to realize, you're going to get a little bit of Xbox, information, and a little bit more Xbox thoughts on things. But nonetheless, even the guys that came in that are Sony fans, most of you guys were constructively adding stuff to it. So that was cool. Very cool. Like that. The panel was fantastic. Let me go through some of the outros here. We'll do it in reverse order here. Our guest, Pred, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Honest to God, always good to have you, and you put your 2 cents in. It was a hot night, a lot of subjects. Where can people find you on the interweb?
Predator _H2OS on pretty much everything. Xbox, Switch. I'm sorry, no, Xbox, PlayStation 4, Steam. Switch is something I don't even remember. Obviously, I'm in everybody's chat. If I can get into a podcast, I'll jump in whenever as needed. 6 Man of Gaming, hit me up wherever.
No, you're the best, Fred. Appreciate that, man. Senora Bombastic Boom will play everything, and you wonder why? He is a retired individual, and he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's earned it. So, Boom, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. When can people find out a little bit more about you got a lot going on, buddy. You got a lot.
Yeah, I do. I mean, listen, when I came on my first podcast in June of last year, obviously, I'm going to be honest, man. A big, giant, absolute thank you to everybody on this panel, because you guys helped me grow in a way that I never thought it was possible. I mean, seriously, I came on, I thought it was going to be a one and done thing. Hey, I got my 15 minutes of fame. I got on a podcast. Yay, I keep it moving. And it just exploded. Mm-hmm. And, I have my own YouTube channel. I just crossed 1,300 followers on Twitter. And in the beginning of the week, I did something I never thought I would do. I launched my own show, and it's Breakfast with Boom. It's going to air every Friday morning between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. And it's going to be a one-on-one conversation with the guest. And
I'm already booked.
Yes, you are. You're my second guest. You're my second guest, and. I got to say, there are a lot of people on the panel that are not here. I asked 21 people, and I got 21 yays.
Nice.
So, I mean, the list, and again, and mind you, I have not even reached out to everyone, because I don't want to say, hey, listen, can you come and join me in September? Because I'm doing, you know what it is? I thought the one-on-one, aspect of a show where we involve the community would be something that people wanted, and people have responded real well. And that's thanks to everybody on this panel and everybody that has been before them on this panel.
No, very cool, Boom. Listen, and I'll pay you a compliment back. You've paid plenty to everybody on the panel many a times. What I always say, and crap, and I used to say it years ago, so it was even before you got on. This isn't the butter your role. The thing about it is, when you come on and you do good work, the chat knows about it, the internet knows about it. You've earned your seat, so it's good stuff, and your channel's just blossoming, buddy. So we'll be there to support you in any way we can.
Thanks.
Congratulations on your show. You got it, buddy. And then I got my buddy Xbot448. Xbot, you got some stuff going on. And let me tell you something. I will say this on the air. I will be on next podcast in the upcoming weeks. My damn schedule sucks on the weekends, but I will tell you this much. I will. I'm saying it live. I will be on next
Saturday already. And Sunday.
Well, that's early though. But I've literally got stuff going on with family and people popping in. And I told Xbot, I'm like, I literally have no Saturday nights free.
Mooch, it's all good, man. We got the lazy boy ready whenever you're ready.
Perfect,
man.
brother. Thank you.
Your seat that, when you did Mooch's takeover and all that good stuff.
It's crap in there too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I
One time I did a takeover. I just jumped in.
I
was like, hey, who the hell is that one kid? I haven't seen him much anymore. The guy, he reminds me a lot of the guy who goes, there it is.
Dark Goldblum.
Yeah, where's Darth Goldblum at?
He wasn't there last week, but he'll be there this week. He gave me the gameplay and everything. I have it all set, ready to go. So
Dark Goldblum.
And mad respect for the Don, man. That guy is a hell of a
Don is awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
lately me and him have not been agreeing on the show, but it leads to some really, really good discussion, man. Because the Don is one of those unique characters within the community. Anybody who has played a game with him, you're in for no dull moments whatsoever. But next podcast on my channel every Saturday at 7 p.m. One of the main topics tomorrow is going to be about Nintendo and Sony possibly breaking the law. So it's going to be really interesting. Definitely tune in Saturday 7 p.m. Man.
Very cool, Xbot. We'll all be tuning in. And then my paisano, who's probably had 2 calzones just between the show. Clowns, where can people find you? And Four Guys was awesome yesterday, buddy.
Oh, thanks. Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. 4 Guys with Quarters. And I'm also now part of Tick. I do the parts of the entertainment section, so you can find my writings on there as well.
Nice, Clowns. Shout out to the Lord guys that do all that. They do a lot of work, and it's good. That's a good team you linked up with, Clowns. Very cool. Then I got my buddy Alan Walsh over at fullthrottle.com. Alan, thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, no, honestly, another fantastic show, a great panel, great discussion, so many things to talk about. You can find my stuff at Beetle Comet on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, all that good stuff. And the website is fullthrottlemedia.co.uk. And also a huge congratulations to Boom on the new show.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Very cool. And you cannot leave the show without knowing where the man himself, Crap Gamer, Crap, where can you find us again?
Crap Gamer reviews.
It gets shorter every week.
I mean, honestly, I don't have BGST for another couple of weeks because somebody paid Zaire $100 for me to take a vacation for a month.
I shout you out every episode, man.
Honestly, I mean, we got MNC mornings on Sunday, and that should be pretty cool. And other than that, man, just check out the channel. Always got some cool stuff going. And we'll see you guys next week.
I appreciate that, guys. I just want to announce this. Crap has always given me slack for it. We hit over 200 likes on tonight's CrossFire, which is a monumental thing. Guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more coming. We'll see you guys on Sunday morning, 11:30. And I am on at 2 o'clock tomorrow on JKB's channel. Check us out there, too. We'll catch you guys next Friday. Peace out.
Later.